Good evening, folks. I'm Baroque, and welcome to Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Now, a couple quick points before we get started. One, I've loved RPGs most of my gaming life, but they've always been very personal, so I am both extremely nervous and excited to share a single-player journey with folks. I hope you'll stick around with me as we go through. And second, Dragon Age Origins was like the first big RPG I ever played. Introduced me to the genre, into like more focused storytelling in video games. Voice acting, characters, writing, romance, the whole shebang. And I've enjoyed each of the games since. Origins probably my favourite. 2, I had a blast with. I think the major points in 2 were pretty good. It was the to and fro and internal corridors that kind of... And Inquisition, I also enjoyed. It was just a bit massive. The MMO-y in its feel. Which kind of ended up being, I'm just going to turn the difficulty down and let's get through the damn thing. More than anything else. So given it's been... God's Origins was 2009. Inquisition were like 10 years ago? It's been a while. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. And by that I mean character creation.
I knew him as Solus.
Oh, Varric!
Smart, thoughtful, loved to hear himself talk. But long ago, he had a different name.
And let me know if any audio levels need balancing or all like that. We'll see as we go.
Heroic rebel against tyranny, depending on which story you believe. In his desperate fight against the corrupt elven gods, Solus imprisoned them, creating a veil that split our world from the raw magic of the Fade. He had won. But the veil cost the elves everything.
Evening, AJ. Thank you for coming and having a look.
Even their immortality.
Right, let us see indeed.
Now, Solus wants to tear down that veil and undo the damage he caused, even if that means our world has to burn.
Varric's always a great choice for voiceover.
And that's where you come in.
Well, clean-shaven, hairy-chested dwarf. Right. So, Origins, I was an elf. 2, you had to be a human. 3, I was also an elf. Given, from what I understand, I have to make my Inquisitor again. Seems a bit silly to basically make the same character twice. Human or dwarf? My only worry with dwarf is in a similar vein to a game like Baldur's Gate 3. How adept did they manage the camera angles? You know, in a cutscene, is it going to be over my shoulder, looking down in a weird way? I haven't heard any of the reviews I've watched mention it. So maybe we can just be a dwarf for once and laugh as the camera bugs out, as it may well do. I would just straight up go Kunari. But I don't understand what they've done to make them giant foreheads. Maybe we actually... How forehead are we going? She's not got too big of it. You know what? Maybe the males seem to have a massive forehead. Do we dare? Maybe we have a brief glance at the Kunari and see what we can get away with. This is the basic level. Right, head shape. For the best head blending settings, we recommend setting all facial features to their base values. This can also be done from the reset button at a time later. Would you like this to be done now? Sure. Okay, so they want this to default, which I assume figures into all the rendering the hair and stuff. Apparently this game's got fantastic hair physics. Oh, but even then, the shortest we can make As AJ says, that landing strip. Even then, I don't know if I can deal with it. Like, I looked to Dragon Age 2's Arashock and how his horns kind of came from the center, but it still was like proportioned in a way that didn't remind you of, like, what was his name? Megamind, the big but tall blue head fella. Do you know what? I think rather than muss about with it for a while, I'm going to go with Dwarf. Let's do something different. I haven't been a Dwarf in Dragon Age, so why not? Okay, we can start from this point. We can start from here. Oh, and that head-shaped thing didn't come up for Dwarf, so it must have to do with how the Kunari's horns are done. Accentuate those cheekbones. Exactly, AJ. Shoot me here, please. I lean more on the cooler side for myself. Melatonin meter. Oh. Knock it down a little bit. Oh boy. 42 options for complexion. Oh boy. Now, I want to try and not be in this character creation for an hour. Many freckled. Even. There is a lot of options here. Knackered. Weathered. A very, very beaten down dwarf. Vertigo. That I don't recall off the top of my head. I'm just kind of seeing what happens as we mess with stuff. He looks so tired. Rosy. Right, it's either rugged or weathered. It's a fair point, AJ. We will be looking at him for hours. I kind of like the idea of him just being this knackered veteran. I suppose if the Kunari had options here, you could bring it down a bit. But again, I'd be the whole game. I would be looking. Problem with these sliders, you end up making something absolutely, like, it seems fine as you're going and then you pull back at the end and you've created a monster. Bigger brow. Higher brow? Tiny bit. In a position. Oh. Of how stern. A little bit stern. Minus 15% stern. I'm going to bring those edges down. How deep? How deep is your brow? Not there many Karens who would have gone for this kind of hairdo, AJ. Most of the Karens, it's like more the blonde bob cut. Honestly, I like this hairdo. At one point, I tried to pull it off. Did not go well. My hair tends to get into the raw and, like, rugged. Somewhat falls into Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, the way I used to sweep it back over my ears. So it either just gets too long and raggedy. We just keep it kind of neat and tidy most of the time. Probably could do with a tidy up sometime soon. The beard, though, can be all over the place. Very much depends on the week or two. Going to be hard to tell over to buy if we're going to do big old dwarf beard. Bit more width on the jaw, yes. See, this will be the part where we remove the beard. And things look horrendous. Chin bump. A little bit. Width. A little bit more. Depth. Just the one. Height of chin. Knock it down a little bit. It can never be. wouldn't necessarily say emo, no. More tried stuff. Did get a trench coat at one point, but never really got around to wearing it much. Also, needed some tailoring. Far too big. Okay. Scalp. Flatten it. Just you flatten the back of it. Yeah, the hair physics are meant to be quite impressive, so we want them to be showy. We want something long and luscious or a rugged mane. Bigger head. Less height. I think keep that about 10% scale. A little bit bigger. I don't want to come off as cartoony. Okay. That is one of the many options. The body. Undergarment. Now, undergarments are going to be important. Because we've disabled nudity. Because we are streaming. So that is just par for the course. I wish she had more comfortable looking boxers. Interesting way to do it. Some muscle and some bod. Gonna be a dwarfy dwarf. Oh no. This is where the problems come in. Taller dwarf. Wider dwarf. More size. I know, AJ, I know. Honestly, I am just glad they had the option. Because if they didn't, hold size. A little bit for our dwarf. If they didn't, and it got to the point of, I already picked that there, where it would just pop up midstream, it'd be a real problem at that point. I could have my channel just terminated straight up. It's like, oh. Now, eyes are the bit that you can really bugger up. I kind of like where the eyes are at, colour aside. Don't want heterochroma, I'm alright. Middle, inner, and outer. Oh boy. Let's see. I always end up going close to mine. Fair point, AJ. Yeah, if YouTube didn't, to be fair, it'd be a bloody nightmare. Slightly darker. Slightly lighter so they pop a little. Not too, but somewhere in the middle. Oh. Let me keep that down there. Do we want any bloodshot or cataracts? Well, he is a sleepy, weathered bugger, so a little bit of bloodshot. Any cataracts? Tiny bit. Tiny bit of age showing. Brow and lashes. Where's thick and fuzzy? Okay, that's a good option. Can we go thicker? Oh, the poor bugger. When you're up with loads of body hair, you know the pain of having to deal with that garbage. Oh yes, I think that kind of makes him look more gentle. I like that. Is there anything bigger that looks angrier? I don't want him to necessarily be angry, just experienced. Hang on, I want brighter because I know what I'm going for. It's going to be a big white mane of hair. That's what I do. I think either he doesn't care for his eyelashes at all, so they're massive and overly not looked after. Certainly wouldn't be shaped. I know, AJ. Can he run the risk? Can he run the risk? No, he's not impressed at all. Pull back on the mascara a little bit. I want a little bit to shadow the eyes. Nose. Oh, no. This is where things can get out of hand. Oh, and then you can twist it as necessary. I don't think we'll twist it. I want a gigantic honker. I want a bit of pronunciation. Do. Angle it up a little bit. Yeah. I'm feeling it. And knock his nostrils down a touch. Depend on the beard we end up with. Lips. I'm just going to be content with lips. Ears! Oh boy. Number 2. Monster hunting dad. I like the idea. Alright, how crazy can we get? Again, but a lot of, like, you can disable or enable in the options hair strand technology, where it moves and goes with stuff without clipping through clothes and, like, kind of bounces along more naturally. Can't say whether it does that for the whole game. That's a little too luscious. I want it a little more Raggedy Mane-like. Where's big old mane? I want it done up. It's more akin when my hair gets a little too much. Pretty close, actually. Not at the moment, we're... Needs an afro. No, I'm not going to be one of those. I ain't just going to give a character an afro. Couldn't he pull it off? You know what? I'm going with it. Then, of course, the white. I was doing it before Witcher was cool. Now, the beard. Certainly without the facial hair. Oh, goodness. Needs that beard. Big. Bushy. Don't really want it tied off. I want it just going. And that just feels too small for a dwarven beard. Someone bet me to shave it off and I did, but I didn't like it, so I started growing it back. Sure, Dragon Age didn't lean into Scottish dwarves, to be fair. We've got scraggly there. Or we've got scrabbly big. The moustache just looks more well cared for than I'd like. No, very nice, AJ. The moustache, it's just... It looks too fancy. Otherwise, I'd kind of like it. Maybe we go with the stubble. Hang on, where was it gone? Not the shape stubble, the mass stubble. It was a little bigger. I've certainly been there more times than a few. Same again. Okay, we're getting there. It's coming together. Oh, scalp. Oh, we're just making more edits here. No, I'm not going to futz with it. Quite content with where it is. Fancy can we get? Similar takes around the eyes. A little much. The vision of you that's growing in my head, AJ, is quite something. don't think our fella cares enough to bother. I don't want to start futzing with lips either. Don't think he needs blush. Tattoos. Are they not already on his body? Hang on. No, what are the things on his body then? Hang on, hang on. Where are... Oh, that's paint. Hang on then, let's knock paint off while we do tattoos first. Fascinating, there's 3 different options for it. And there's some really cool stuff over the different games for like Dalish elves. Oh, this reminds me of Dragon Age 1's dwarves, like the Idukan storyline you did at the start of the game. Maybe he was once from a noble family and then got like a caste tattoo. I'm trying to remember how all that worked. Potentially, that's far from my field of expertise, AJ. I would only be guessing. Yeah, that's kind of all the heraldry they had in Dragon Age 1. I kind of like that. Wait, center intensity left and right. They've broken it down. That's wild. That's such a granular level of things. Always try and hint at. These games never really let you go true paladin. So I always just try and hint at it. If I knock down the saturation, I need it up a little bit more. I don't want it vivid. And if I knock down the intensity to like 45. How's that? It's still there, but it's faded in time. It's just doing pretty well. No big old body tattoo. It's not going to let me see on the back. I think with the face one, he doesn't necessarily... Oh, that's another Idukan style one. And that's the only dwarven family name I remember. It's a lot of options. That's fancy. I think I'll go... You know what? I think we got the one on the head. I'd say he didn't get one elsewhere. Let's do paints before scars. I don't want face paint when we have body paint. The big old swine. Hadouken style. Scales or feathers? Could be either. It's like a golem body, like, blimey. Kinda like... I'd like it more if it was clear if it was scales or feathers. I think it's meant to be feathers. Oh, it's the more painterly one on the other side. Let's see. Colour presets. Oh, they can sort it for me. That's very pleasant of them. Nearly shortens a little too... Where was that yellow one? And then we knock down the intensity, same as that tattoo, to about 45. So it was there once, and he cared for it once. It's faded now. Get a little smoother with the body. Subtle thing. Oh, the lighting change. Ooh, it works quite well in the dark. Oh, that one doesn't want to load. Oh no, I see it. Okay. I think It's coming together. Not in this world. I remember, like, technically in Origins you picked the next king of the dwarves. I can barely remember that storyline. I remember some of the parts as you dug deeper against the Darkspawn. Okay. All that sorted. Class time. Now, dwarves can be mages, it said. And well, I am curious some of the stuff I've seen as a... He looks quite happy as a rogue, doesn't he? Will be warrior, because that's what I do. Two-handed weapon? Yes, I heard a rumour. Right, and we don't know yet because we've not played, but I saw an article today saying this game may not feature great swords, full stop. Unless there's something really hidden somewhere. Now that's like a point off a review from me. No great so we'll see. I don't know for sure yet. Ooh, I like the rugged armour. And we'll see what they've got to offer, nonetheless. Oh. Wow, starting zone armour. And of course you got the big fancy Grey Warden, but I like that middle one. Warriors specialise in specific forms of combat. You can become a Reaper, become Knight's Blade, steal life and risk death to get incredible unnatural, so you're Death Knight. Slayer, Leap, massive punishing weapon. Oh, that looks like what we'll probably end up being. That looks like good stuff to me. Big two-handed leaps, getting in there. And then the champion kind of looks cool, but Slayer is absolutely what I'll end up being there. Let's see what the other two have to offer. So for mages, they get Deathcaller, which is the more necromantic drainage. Ooh! Suck Aura. Fancy. The Evoker. Call the Void, freeze enemies in their tracks, then summon the deepest cold to tear them apart. Literally summoning the stars. I know someone who's going to have a good time with that. A lot more cosmic than I was expecting. Or the Spell Blade. Channel spells spent close quarters. Oh, the lightning melee, though. Don't game. I'm such a sucker for it. If only the weapon wasn't a floaty orb and a dagger. Speaking of, let's have a quick look at the rogue. A duelist. Draw your steel. Parry and dodge past enemies to gain strength with every strike. It's big old fancy... Oh, the anime, I suppose. Saboteur. Set the stage, deploy explosives and turrets that devastate enemies, then pick them off with arrows. Ah. It just zoomed in. And gun. And then chucked the gun. I lit the Veil Ranger. Hunt the enemy. Snipe enemies from far using artifacts that charge arrows with dangerous magical power. Well, it looks very fancy, doesn't it? We'll definitely be going warrior, though. That's what I do. Ooh. Background. Your faction choice influence Rook's story and conversational choices. Grey Warden. Rook's a Grey Warden. An ancient military order sworn to battle Darkspawn and other monsters. The Wardens undergo secret, unbreakable rites that grant them supernatural powers against the dark. Gain rep with them. Bonus damage on Darkspawn. Base defense and health are increased. The duelist absolutely was. On this picture, surname. Interesting. Veil Jumpers. This daring group explores ancient elven ruins in the Arthlan forest. Although founded by elves, they welcome anyone brave enough to face Arthlan's reality warping magic. Okay, it's another kind of lean into a faction. More crit and weak point damage. What else we got? The Shadow Dragons. The underground resistance that opposes corrupt rulers and slavery in Tevinter. Coming from all walks of life, they are determined to bring justice to the people. Your class-specific resource regenerates slightly faster. Tempting. Tempting. Those are things I can get behind. Lords of... Sweet gods! I just found some gold. I melted it down, then I slapped it on myself. An informal collection of explorers, hunters and treasure seekers from Ravane. The rowdy lords are famed for both staring exploits and narrow escapes. Game rep with them, deal more damage with mercenaries, and perform takedowns on enemies with slightly less effort. Tempted for the stat there. The Morn Watch. The elite necromantic order explores the mystery of life and death, tends the undead in Navarra's sprawling grand necropolis. Apply more afflictions. AJ. Oh, the Antivan Crows! I remember Zevran! I loved him. An Antivan Crow. Swift knives in the dark. The Crows are ruthless assassins, both respected and feared as Antiva's shadowy protectors. Get an extra potion. Whoa. Basic Antivan is very close to the chest. Full capitalist. Gold armor, baby, says AJ in chat. Okay, the middle option for all of them seems about seems about the same. And then it's either side that changes. Aye. That's fancy. It's just a little too orange and gold. Hail Harin, welcome to the stream. See, the only problem is, for the Grey Warden, I feel like that's what we did in Origins. That was that whole game. And don't get me wrong, I loved it, and being a Grey Warden was pretty cool. I can't deny that resisting corrupt rulers in slavery kinda speaks. Opinions are fine as long as you're not attacking anyone or begrudging anyone. Feel free to speak your mind. And again, as long as it's not going at someone or just going, this game's garbage, you're fine. Alright, I forgot, we're picking a surname as well. Makar. Go on then. Backstory, Breaker of Bonds. Rook risked everything to liberate the enslaved people of Tevinter, even knowing it would anger the ruling elite. Foundling Rook was adopted into a military family and joined the Shadow Dragons to fight from the shadows for change in Minrathous. While guarding a visiting dignitary who was investigating a slavery ring in the nearby city of Nessus, Rook concluded that the mission would fail without throwing caution to the wind. Alone, he sneaked the dignitary deep into Venatori-controlled zones and brought him back, along with the rescued slaves. Those actions brought Rook to the Venatori's attention, and the Shadow Dragons decided to keep Rook out of sight. AON Brown in the chat. Ooh, that's worrying. I watched Digital Foundry's breakdown, and they had a load of recommendations for what you could tweak and change. The only thing I pushed past for was they said have the textures on medium. I slapped mine at high. We will see. I've got the frame rate limited to 60 because honestly, it never bothers me that much. So we should be okay. We'll have to see. Playstyle. Oh, this is difficulty. And it affects incoming damage. And let's knock what's all the way at the top. Oh, you customize it all. That's lovely. You love to see that. Let people edit their options themselves. Nightmare is everything is stupid. Now, one thing I heard from some reviews was at some point things get spongy. And everyone kind of knocked it down. And I'm not here to just completely tempted by either. If we start an adventurer and we can knock it down, that's on the middle. Right, we'll see once we get the game going, M. Brown. That's fair enough, Ewan. I'm sure there'll be plenty to goof on and there'll be plenty to enjoy. Yeah, we'll leave that on the middle one for now. See how we go. If it ends up getting spongy, like down the line, 20, 30 hours in, we can always knock it down. It's my name. Oh god, past adventures, the Inquisition. Last names from the faction. Hang on, bit of mouse and controller going on. There we are.
I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad you're here.
Pretty sure I recognise that voice.
Time to get to work. What's he been saying now?
Okay.
Well, we're not in trouble. Let's move.
I need this pitch lower.
Well, we made it.
Alright, that seems a little better. Seems a little better. And now, from what I understand, that you cannot change story beats from Origins or Dragon Age 2, which at some point we kind of have to accept that it's a nightmare for game developers to reach back that far and to incorporate that into a game that, again, Origins was 2009, so I don't begrudge him too far. Sound is low, you say, AJ?
I'm happy we're here. Hi, we'll be working together.
I can sort that once we get in. Oh, God! Game sound. I knocked it down by a little bit on the overall sound. Again, I can knock it up again once we get in there. Murderer, Herald, Judge, Saviour. These were some of the titles heaped on the Inquisitor as she led a force that challenged nations. 8 years ago, a catastrophic breach in the Fade, realm of magic and dreams, threatened the world. Through circumstance, or some claim fate, a woman rose to lead an organization known as the Inquisition. Travelling many lands, rallying people to a cause, the Inquisition closed the breach and stopped the villain behind it. She was advised throughout by an elven mage named Solus. The Inquisitor discovered, however, that Solus was in truth an ancient elven god, Fen'Harel, the Dread Wolf. He planned to restore things to their primal state, when the Fade and physical reality were one. Solus said he regretted the deaths this would cause, but claimed there was no other way to fix what was, to his eyes, an irredeemably broken world. After that, the Dreadwolf vanished, but the Inquisitor swore to find him. Now, I vaguely remember my Inquisitor. I can do this quickly. It was a male elf. Start with that baseline, go down. Oh, Jesus! Alright, I don't need to do everything. I just need to remember the specifics. He was liver. It's quite pale. Eye colour will be the same as our fella right now. It's just how I tend to roll. Again, I don't want to go too crazy with it. I'm just trying to remember how he was. He had it kind of he had his hair tied up. Oh man, it's been ages since I played Inquisition. Where are you? There was one of these where it was swept back and tied up. I can find it. Almost, but a bit longer. Maybe he's cut his hair a little bit. I'm glad I knew this going in, or I'd have just made the same damn character. Oh, maybe he's gotten longer with his hair. Kinda works. Same again on the white, though. Did not have a beard. He did have Dalish tattoos. It went like up the bridge of his nose. It's hiding one of them, so I can't quite tell at the moment. Might have been that? The colour might have actually been a reddier colour. Just like pinging at my memory. Give me my afro, says AJ. No, not yet. It's probably closer to that, but it wasn't the trees. That it was closer to. Not quite the same. He definitely didn't have a beard. And he is older now, so it kind of works out. Will he have gained a scar? I just realised I didn't put any scars on my dwarf. Oh no. Mistakes were made. Oh, the big through and around the jaw, goodness. Hey, Dark Eyes, good to see you this evening. Oh, well, if he looks close to how you remember. For the love of God, I can't. Damn. Okay, we pull that back. The bad thing is, he will have also been called Baroque.
I won't let this stand.
Oh, that's the voice. Yeah. Hang on. No, I don't want to remove the customization. Pick the lineage. Heyo, Fox in the chat. Good to see you as well. Okay. So that's kind of how they look. Oh, I can pick friendship and romance. Okay, okay, okay. So my Inquisitor got with Cassandra. Santa Pendergrass was a member of a royal family, a knight who sought the truth and a woman who loved deeply. Founding member of the Inquisition, Sandra was a hardened warrior who brooked no fools. The Inquisitor, however, grew to know Cassandra's other side, a woman who cherished romance, passion, and the sincere connection they formed together. There might be Dark Eyes. It feels like it'd be a bit much. Oh man, did I give it to the Chantry or did I disband? I can't remember the ending. Crap. It still seems like a pretty meaty decision. I am leaning disbanded. I like how it's wording it there. Definitely wanted to save Solus from himself. When Solus told the Inquisitor he intended to merge the physical world and the Fade, he admitted this world would cause death and destruction. Despite insisting there was no other way, Solus did not relish the cost in lives. He vanished in order to put his plans into motion. The Inquisitor refused to give up on him. He believed he saw genuine regret in Solus, and that he didn't truly want to go through with his plans. He vowed to save his friend from dooming both the world and himself. The Inquisitor's influence had diminished, but he still had contacts who began searching for the Dread Wolf. Okay. Ain't perfect, but it works. He has the... like the wooden arm. Got it lopped off near the end, right? Okay, we're back to the dwarf. I forgot to slap a scar on him. And if he's going to be an old vet, then he certainly needs to have taken a couple hits. What a big old stitch. That's a wild scar. That's like dragon scale. How does one get a scar like that in this universe? Go with your standard beastie one. I do love a good old beast scratch one. Don't want it to pop too much. Oh, that was it. Cheers, Dark Eyes. It's been a long time. It's a hell of a scar. Ooh, like tree branches. Seems like a load of nicks and stuff all over. I like that for him. He's going to be the surly old vet that hates all things but booze. Oh no, AJ, don't read him like that. It's going to be fine. He's not going to drink the whole game. He might. He might drink the whole game. Okay. Summary. Baroque Macaw. A dwarf. A man. A warrior. A shadow dragon.
We can lend a hand. He's always got some story.
Okay. Can I hit the options menu from here to up the game volume? Not yet. We'll see once it gets going how well it holds up. I think with that, and 48 minutes late. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. We're in. Dark Eyes, please. We got it on the medium difficulty for now. If it gets too spongy rather than hard for, like, a decent... As most games, unfortunately, tend to end up. We'll see where we go.
So, where were we?
Barrick!
Oh, right. Him.
Right, let me know how the audio is for you. I can knock it up once we're out of
Stop the
cutscene.
Dreadwolf before he can perform his ritual. After following his trail across half the known world, we finally tracked him to Manrathus, capital of the Tevinter Imperium. But to find the Dreadwolf in a city this big, we need a local expert. So, naturally, our story begins where all great stories begin. With the seediest bar in town. And a missing contact.
Up as in, please put it up, AJ, or audio's better now we're in it? OBS is telling me things are running fine at the moment as well.
Let's try this again. Where's Nevgalis?
You think you can come into my bar and make demands?
Yeah. Beat down the entire room to get information. I think we're gonna be a bit of a goody two shoes. Audio needs a boost. Let me see if I can pause. I cannot edit yet. I will do so once this situation is over.
It's not a demand, it's an offer. Telling me what I need to know is the smart play here.
How'd you figure, sweet talker?
Nevgalis is my only shot at finding the Dreadwolf. I need to know where she is. We were supposed to meet here, in your bar. But you let Venatori cultists drag her away.
I didn't let them. They paid me.
So answer my questions and walk away with the coin. Or spend it cleaning up the place when I'm through. Your choice.
You're adorable. Dumad Plaza. That's where you'll find Nevgalis.
Yeah, we haven't had any crazy camera being a
Thank
dwarf
you.
yet.
You want to get yourself killed fighting the Venatori? It's your ass.
That offer's good for all of you too. No?
If they won't listen to you,
Barrick!
always listen to Bianca.
Ridiculous crossbow.
Your friend Nevgalis is at Dumont Plaza.
I heard. That's why you're my second in command.
Ooh.
Although for the record, you might be too charming for your own good.
Varric has seen that you like talking your way out of things. There's going to be a lot of that. Thumbs up, giggle, Angie. Well, these things haven't changed for free games. Tend to go for the thumbs up. It'll vary.
What did I have to worry about? You were there watching my back.
Yeah.
Come on. Harding will be worried.
All right. Break's over.
Even though Varric's got a beard now, man's bigger.
She's the best damn detective I've ever met. If she says she's got a lead on Solus, I believe her.
Mage cities.
The Archon's palace. Something must have gotten them right.
I bumped up the field of view a touch as well. Okay, we have menu. I go down to audio. Where are we at? Global was 65. So let's knock this up to about... We'll just start at 80 and let me know if it drowns out my voice completely. It's always a beard contest, Dark Eyes. Always. Save game. 100 slots. Save 1. Yes, the lazy save. Oh, we can do a bit of slow walk.
Should we be in more of a hurry to get out of here?
We don't want to look conspicuous. Just get out of here nice and casual. Find Nev Gallus and stop Solus.
Yo, this place is pretty crazy. Again, not everything's turned up to Ultra. I went to optimize it to make sure it would run well on stream.
That ritual is going to tear down the veil.
That said,
the only thing separating us from the Fade and an
pretty good.
endless number of demons. I have to talk him down.
Wait! But I didn't do anything!
And let me know how the audio change is working out as we go.
Are they after us? Is it because of the bar?
Word travels fast in Minrathous.
We've got to help her.
We don't have time to get arrested.
The raindrops.
Especially if we... Oh, crap.
We're too late.
The ritual started. But if we hurry, we can still stop Solus before it finishes. Let's go. Harding's this way.
And we're moving.
She'll get us to Dumont Plaza. And then
Oh, hello.
get us to Solus.
Watch out!
Sprint.
Solus summoning demons on purpose.
My guess is the veil is weakening.
Just grabbing
and
people.
they're slipping through the cracks.
And when the veil comes down completely,
Then the whole world is going to look a lot like
Oh,
this.
Pride Demon. Without legs.
Come on, this way. It should get us to Harding.
I do hope there aren't any collectibles I can miss in this intro. Oh yeah, good mantle. Harding!
Now, get inside and bar the doors quick as you can, okay?
Thank you, miss.
The character I wanted to romance an Inquisition and never could.
Harding, you all right?
We'll see
I've been
what
doing
squad
I
we
can
end
to
up with.
help. The ritual must be weakening the veil. There are a lot of scared people out here.
And a lot of demons. Haven't seen this many come through the Fade in years.
I'd agree, Dark Eyes. We'll have to wait until it fights us, though, to be sure.
And what about you two? Are you okay?
A little shaky. The sky's just blown
there's a
open.
lot of demons. The Archon's palace was taking shots at us too.
Gets the blood pumping.
Have you got my gear?
Right over there. Where's Nev Gallus? Wasn't she at the meeting point?
Venatori got to her first. We grabbed her before we arrived and paid off the bar owner to keep it quiet.
I'm not surprised our detective did something to piss off a cult of murderous blood mages. but their timing stinks. The bar owner said the Venatori took Nev to Dumont Plaza. Can you get us there, Harding?
Rook, you're with the Shadow Dragons. I figured you'd know Minrathous better than I do.
Sure, but Minrathous is huge. This is nowhere near my neighborhood. I can try.
Don't worry, scouting's my specialty. Follow me.
Eyes up. We've got company.
Oh, is it fight time?
Team.
Whoa! Form a light attack with X. Use your light attack up to 4 times in a row to create an attack chain. The last hit is a final attack that deals increased damage.
Here they come.
You haven't told me how to block yet, game. Cheeky beggar. Okay, and I can lock on like that. Swine.
I think that's the last of them.
Good. Let's get to Dumont Plaza.
Oh, there's breakables.
You all right?
Oh no.
Thumbs up if you need it.
Every pop.
If Solus
Every
stares
pop.
down the veil, doesn't that destroy everything?
So was always
Sprint attack.
how beautiful the ancient world was.
That
Oh,
world
there is
existed
stuff.
before the veil,
Gimme.
and he wants to bring it back.
Even if his ritual kills us all in the process.
Oh no. Oh. Going to miss something. I can feel it. The only great sword in the game. Game wants me to go. The rat said no. We're out, actually. Saying down on the deed. Oh, big weapon. Yes, please. Better. Annoyed it's a mace, but I'll take it. Always two-hander. Oh, you'll be alright, people. We're going to save the day. It's all going to be fine. I'm just going to steal everything from the floor. That's what we do in RPGs. Even if it's yours. Bop of a sprint attack. It's a fair point, AJ. I can't imagine I'll do much good blocking, to be fair.
No, I think that's Dumont Plaza.
Is F5 still quick save? No. It is not. I don't even know if it has a quick save. Oh, get ruined.
Venatori cultists.
Get bopped.
I hate these assholes.
Oh, I've got a dodge button.
Looks like the Venatori put up a barrier to block the way.
Dunk. Okay, I have some YX combos. Destroy nearby crystals to bring it down. Just the one for now. Okay, I get jump attacks too. Nope. Nope. Now break the tables. Yes!
Used to fight these assholes every day in the Shadow Dragons.
Glad you kept up
Ooh.
practice.
It's like contextual dialogue. Okay, you can cancel out of most of the swing, beginning or the end. And as the hit goes in. Keep an eye out for bits and bobs. These pots are too strong.
Come on. Guess we're sliding down.
I'm using the stairs, Varric. I don't know what you mean. Look, there was money here. Give it. Give me the money. Oh yeah, some defamation in the ground. Hello. Driving kick. RB to select your ability. It requires 50 rage. I generate rage by hitting enemies. Oh. See. Detonates weakened. I've heard this has the priming and detonate system from Mass Effect, and that makes me excited because I love that system. Oh, dear. Ooh. Okay, didn't really block it. hitbox followed through. Can I quick cast this in any way? Or do I have to do that button every time? It's really juicy, especially because I'm a dwarf and have to leap off the ground. That feels pretty great.
Barrier, but it looks like
Green pots are Healy pots. Very kind game. Yes, it seems like we're going to be drop kicking people to death for a good chunk of the game until we get something better. Yeah, no. Hard for me to tell if we can quick cast any of these. There isn't a way to bind it somewhere. See if the game tells us in a bit. Camera doesn't seem to care we're a dwarf much in terms of bugging out so far.
Not the worst timing.
Nev, it's so good to see you. We thought the Venatori had kidnapped you.
They thought the same thing. A lot of Venatori in this city have reason to hate me. Figured I'd play along. Find out who wanted to settle the score this time. Then the sky started raining
Oh, the
demons.
peg leg.
So I'm back on the job.
Appreciate it. Rook, this is Nev Gallus, our local expert. She's gonna help us find Solus. Nev, meet Rook. Both of you have done some work for the Shadow Dragons.
I'm still holding my big hammer, which is nice.
Some old friends said if I was working in Tevinter, the Shadow Dragons are worth trusting.
We came prepared for a rescue. Looks like you were way ahead of us.
A rescue? You're sweet.
You said you had a lead?
I haven't seen Solus in person, but I did find hints of old magic, similar to what you get in Elven ruins.
In older games, in a cutscene, whenever you went to injure someone, you always pulled out the same old crap dagger. It was very funny.
That's where your man is hiding.
Maybe we're past that
Let's
now.
go. Before this ritual he's doing gets any worse.
Worse, this ritual's already drawing more power than I'd expect from a dozen mages. You told me he was working alone.
I also told you he was an ancient elven god.
An elven god. Well, whatever he is, he's causing trouble in my city. Let's go.
A fair point, Dark Eyes. A fair point. It is a very classy peg leg. No, Templar Captain. Absolutely not. The sky is tearing open. Again! I'm leaving.
So if we do catch Solus, or the Dread Wolf, whatever he calls himself, what's the plan?
He wants to bring down the veil. Hopefully that ritual takes his full attention.
So we catch him while he's doing his ritual, so he can't fight us.
That's the hope. If it comes to a straight-up fight, we're dead.
Oh, I could twizzly it for a moment. Hey up. Hey, I saw that. Yeah, he's trying to hide from me. Give me that booty. Any sneaky about here? Nope, we're alright. We're alright. Don't fall now. A lot of fancy lighting going on. Oh, more shiny. Give.
We can slide down.
I'm getting too old for this.
Varric, please.
There. That's the building I tracked Solus to.
Looks like the Venatori also found it. And then demons found them.
Gotta check your corners. Gotta check behind stuff. Gotta make sure. Healy pot. You're already at full health. More money. And it probably won't add up to much money, but if it helps me buy a great sword, spear, or axe. Press RB, use shield tosh. Charge your attack. Holding RT rather, increase the damage. Oh, it is just my ranged attack. Oh, so we're Captain America all of a sudden. And it has a cooldown. It's charging. I didn't read what it said about barriers, but I beefed it. Oh, hello. Looks like my range attack does more to those. Drop kicked. Ooh. Okay, it comes out pretty quick.
I can get it.
Checked that way on the way around.
So this is the Dread Wolf's hideout.
One of them, at least. Not sure how long he's been here.
Some of this looks ancient.
Solus has been around longer than Manrathus itself.
Murals. Elven gods being angry with him when he was a Wolof. Is the game giving me a codex like it used to? Let's see, we've got a journal. And a story part of the journal. Do not have a codex yet. We have a library. Oh, wow. 5% of the codex. Letters from your companions and others you've aided in your journeys. No letters as of yet. And the codex is... Oh, wow. How in depth are... Oh, boy. It is a whole lot of reading. I don't know whether to do this on stream immediately or save it for a big old readathon at the very end. Should probably do it as we go. On to Vinter Templars. When one mentions the Templar Order, you no doubt picture the armoured members of the Southern Chantry. These Templars are trained to combat uncontrolled magic, blood magic, and abominations, with the goal of protecting people, including mages themselves. In the most violent manifestations of magical power, however, they also embody the Southern Chantry's control over mages and enforce many of its strict rules and regulations over magic in general. In addition to combat training, these Templars ingest lyrium. This mineral, usually... I'm trying to mimic the voice from the old Mass Effect Codex. Remember that from Mass Effect 1? Don't know why they don't do that anymore. This mineral, usually used by mages for enchantment and rituals, grants Templars the ability to resist and dispel magic. The fact that it is also addictive, chaining them to the Chantry and resulting in paranoia, obsession, and ultimately dementia, is often swept under the rug. Yes, we've all heard about that dirty little secret. As you may have surmised by my use of Southern Chantry, this is not the case in the Tevinter Imperium. In Tevinter, we know that magic can only serve if it is allowed to flourish. We do not suppress talent. We nurture it. That is not to say we ignore the dangers of magic, and what it might allow those with violent intent if not combated. As in the South, our Templars are trained to prevent the excess of blood magic and to subdue demons as well as those inflicted by possession. But our Templars do not take lyrium. They do not enforce unnecessary regulations. They are not given power over mages, but follow the lead of our most esteemed magisterium. They serve the Chantry and the people of the Imperium. I must admit, I rather prefer our way of doing things. From a letter written by Lycia Pallas, living in a border town in the Tevinter Imperium, to a cousin in Orlais, 915 Dragon. I may well have heard the thingy's voice too much. I don't know whether we do a codec read at the end or not. I kind of enjoy going through. Oh boy, there is 28 of them here to read. 28! What's the miscellaneous? A letter from 6 months. Ooh! Makar, good to hear from you. I hope the North is treating you well, even if your quarry remains elusive. Things here in Rathas go about as well as expected. Venatory presence continues to grow, the result of an obscene amount of gold being funneled into the cult by sympathetic magisters. Some of the Shadow Dragons have had run-ins with some of them, particularly the ones seeking revenge for your shutting down of their slaver ring in Nessus. But don't trouble yourself, this is nothing we can't handle. For now, focus on your work with Varric. Strong alliance with someone with ties to the Inquisition and Kirkwall can only benefit the Shadow and the people we serve. Bring the light, and good luck. Viper. See, that felt more like it should have been more known to me than off here in the Codex, but I suppose that's what the Codex is for. The wider world is just going to be big old stuff, innit? Oh yeah, that's a story stream for another day to go into the full world of 1. Otherwise, we will gather them and read them as we go. 5%. Bloody hell. Let's keep going. What this?
Broken chains. Solus is freeing slaves.
Solus hates slavery. One of the few things we actually agreed on.
He said the other elven gods were tyrants who oppressed his people. He was trying to help them.
And he left money.
See?
No sign of Solus. Just a big glowing window or mirror or something.
Well, that sounds ominous.
It's probably one of those Illuvium things that I vaguely remember from the other games. Morrigan had one. Then, what was her name? Merrill. That was it. Merrill had one.
Ancient elves doing something to a dragon, I think.
Yeah. Trying to control it, maybe?
Solus said the other elven gods were evil. If they were binding dragons, he was right about that much at least.
Hey, look, it's Solus. Oh, hello. Oh, I get a sprint attack on the shield as well. Warriors have access to two-handed weapons such as great axes and maul. What about great swords, game? These attacks are slower than weapon and shield, but inflict more damage. Basic defend is replaced with time defense. Okay, so you do have to time that one though, then. Okay, that's how that looks when it charges. It's a bit of a slow charge up. That's okay. Anything up here? Besides, potion jar. Any sneaky goodies? Got some in the back up here. Literally another way around. Oh, I just found a way to unlock the door.
Sounds like that opened something below.
Then let's have a look.
Okay, no fall damage from that immediate advantage. That's good. 8 over intrusive fall damage. Hello, hello, hello. 15 gold? That was as much as was in all those bags. Highway robbery. Ominous down here. All the reflections.
This the big glowing window you saw earlier, Rook?
It's called an Illuvian. They're elven and very old.
It acts like a doorway from one place to another. Solus uses them to get around quickly.
He must have gone through it.
Then I guess we are as well.
Well, we're not in Minrathous anymore.
Still
I know
holding my
these
hammer.
trees. This is Arlethan Forest.
And there's your ritual. The power involved. I've never seen anything like it.
It certainly looks big and shiny.
The tremors are getting worse.
And we've got demons.
That we do, Nev. That we do. Armor protects enemies from most damage. Your bonus damage and break through it with your heavy hits. There was a bit of bounce to the shield.
I thought the demons were bad back in Minrathous.
The Fade's a mess this close to the ritual. No telling what could come through.
Again, I do need to figure out if there's a quick way of casting that, or if I'm going to be opening that quick menu every time.
Keep moving and try not to think about it.
Gunk. Thanks, game. Sneaky over the side. Nope, only death. Ain't eager to see what lies below. Marines approach, entering new area. A lot of little notifications that come up. See how helpful that is as the game goes on.
We get tremors every time one of those big crystals at the ritual site lights up.
Not many of them left to light. Might want to hurry.
Should probably try and parry something. To get into the habit more than anything. I'm more of a dodger than a parrier though, as anyone who saw Elden Ring streams will can attest. So I fought that Dark Eyes, but it hasn't really triggered that yet. Because tapping it just like taps into the menu.
Almost there.
Oh. Hold left trigger, and it gives us the designated input for the free abilities we can assign. I know we get more than 3, but it looks like we can only have 3 assigned at once. Not enough rage. Rage. Beep. Feeling it, I'm feeling it. Onward.
Quite a few of them, aren't there?
Nothing compared to how many we'll get if Solus finishes his ritual.
What are you, cheeky beggar? Thought the shield would bounce and beam off the other one. Seems like rage kind of degenerates outside of combat. Yeah. Demon. You are certainly less scary without legs.
We have to stop this demon quickly.
What are you doing?
Watch the lightning.
Oh, areas on the ground. I see. Oh, and swings. Ooh. Probably try and parry it at some point. Oh, it's waves. Probably jump those. Nope. Healing potion. Drop kick it.
How did demon this large get through the veil?
It's a pride demon. Damn thing probably sensed Solus' ego.
I don't like that it pings out of lock-on. Drop kick it. Goodbye, Pride Demon.
Everyone all right?
Good enough. Let's get to Solus.
Yeah, I said earlier, Dark Eyes. Can't remember if I just said, but less scary without legs. Well, it does mean they can fly.
All right. I'll take it from here.
Are you sure?
Positive. You three just keep the demons off me while I talk to him.
Varric, Solus isn't gonna stop just because an old friend asks nicely.
Solus needs someone to sell him another option, to help him justify changing his mind.
I'm going to support it, but dear gods, I don't want him to be gone.
We've got your back. If anyone can get through to him, you can.
Thanks, Rook. Whatever else he is, he's my friend. And if he won't listen to me, then he'll hear from Bianca.
More demons.
Take care of the team for me.
Oh, don't red flag like this.
Hey, Chuckles.
Hmm.
Hope I'm not interrupting.
I wish they'd have nicknames for everyone.
Let's buy him some time.
Oh, I parried. What's that?
Veilguard is getting through Solus.
Better talk fast. We can't hold these demons off forever.
I don't know. I think we can.
The veil is a wound inflicted
Fair
upon
point,
this
Dark
world.
Eyes.
It must be healed.
By drowning the world in demons?
I have taken precautions to minimize the damage, Varric.
Minimize the... People are dying right now. You need to listen.
Oh.
Please.
Bianca, no! You
People are
scumbag.
always dying. It is what they do.
It's not a good line, Solus. It's not a good line.
Shit. We need a better plan.
Do you want me to take the shot?
Won't work. He's too powerful.
What if we disrupt the ritual?
How?
See those statues? If we break the scaffolding holding that one up, the whole thing will come down on Solus.
It's risky. Interrupting a ritual of this scale will have consequences.
And what about the demons? Varric needs us to hold them off.
Right, you two stay here. I'll bring down the statue.
What? No. Stepping into all that raw magic is suicide.
The storm could tear you apart.
It's okay.
Anyone got a better idea?
I'm the protagonist.
Fine, but you'll need backup. I'm with you.
I'm a mage. I'll go.
Either way, someone needs to stay back and deal with the demons.
I hate to show bias this early, but
Let's go, Harding. Nev, keep the demons off us.
You got it.
sorry, Nev, I don't know you that well yet, and my character doesn't know Harding. But I, the player, know Harding, and more opportunity to hang out with her is great for now. Messy green stuff. Keep moving and not take a rock to the head.
This is it!
Bring down that scaffolding!
Right, now I think this moment is as far as any pre-release footage has shown me.
Why? Why tear down the veil? Knowing all the lives it'll cost.
We shared a journey years ago. Do you believe that I would do this if there was some other better option?
The pillar's weak, but
It isn't falling! We need to push it!
I'm with you.
Together! Now!
You came a long way and made a valiant effort, Varric, but this story does not end with my downfall.
Unless... Stop my nose! Don't you do it. No. We've got health potions. Give him a health potion. Oh no, it's a magic dagger.
Oh, no, no, no! Harding!
dear. Don't you title card me. What have you done to Varric? I know he got 2 games. That's more than most characters get.
Idea what you have done.
I do love him though. Oh, not a dream sequence.
Soulless. I know what I did. I stopped you from destroying the world.
I was not destroying the world.
Lot of imagery.
My ritual, the magical energies pulled me here, into the Fade.
Okay, so that's why you're here. But why am I here?
Your physical body is unconscious, but you shed a few drops of blood at the ritual site. Enough for a tenuous connection.
Blood magic?
Firstly, I abhor the use of blood magic. Secondly, had I the power to control you, I would already have used it.
All right, you brought me here to talk. What are we talking about?
The Evanurus, or as you would call them, the Elven Gods. The creatures that escaped. In ancient times, they ruled the elves, but that was not enough. They sought not just to be obeyed, but to be worshipped. When I rebelled, they drew on the horrific magic of the Blight, corrupting all they saw until I trapped them. Thanks to you, though, I am now trapped, and the blighted Elven Gods walk free.
This kind of sounds like why the game went from the Dreadwolf to the Veilguard. At some point they changed the story to be less about Solus. Wonder why.
How am I supposed to trust anything you're saying?
You saw them escape from my prison.
I also saw you bringing down the veil.
I had a plan.
Varric always said you'd have a big explanation for why none of this was your fault.
Varric?
Yeah, he said that's your style. Never quite lies, clever half-truths that let you convince yourself you're doing the right thing. He tried to talk to you anyway, and now he's hurt.
Varric is quite practiced at shading the truth himself.
So those things that got out, you said they were gods?
They said they were gods. Blighted, tyrannical, sadistic gods. It took all my power to imprison them millennia ago, but I am certain you will be fine.
How bad are we talking here?
Their power outstripped my own even before they embraced the corruption of the Blight.
But you did imprison them.
Through trickery. I also had a ritual dagger of pure lyrium, and a network of mirrors to take me from the lighthouse across the world.
I don't have either of those.
Well then, I expect you will be busy. Elganan and Gillenane are your problem to solve. This is your responsibility now.
I've admitted to Solus that I'm worried. That doesn't seem... You know, that doesn't seem too out of the way.
You want me to take the shot?
You have no idea what you have done.
Oh, he's not dead.
This is your responsibility now.
Well, look who's still with us.
But he's not going to be fighting by the looks of it.
You're okay. But I saw Solus stab you. You fell.
Trust me, kid. I've had worse. It'll take more than a flesh wound to stop me. Don't think I'll be making it out to the field anytime soon, though.
Oh, the more option has returned. Okay, this is where we get those deeper dives. I'll be doing all of these.
What happened?
I did my best to talk sense into Solus, but of course, he wasn't listening. He never does.
The plan did go a little wrong.
Yeah. Nev got everyone out, by the skin of her teeth mostly. Before you start worrying, Harding will be fine. She's made of sterner stuff than either one of us. Or, at least, she's a lot tougher than me.
Sad.
I should have come up with a better plan. I should have...
You
Oh,
worked
no.
with what you had.
Beating himself
and
up.
You succeeded, by the way. World isn't drowning in demons.
It isn't over, though. We trapped Solus in the Fade, but something else got out. Something...
Rook, you've got this. I've seen your work.
It's a lot of faith.
The time you disobeyed orders while taking down that Venatori slavery ring. There's a reason I dragged you into this whole Solus mess. You're clever, adaptable, and you don't know when to quit.
Russ?
Sounds like a protagonist.
You're awake.
Wish she came with me,
Sorry,
she was
I didn't mean
injured.
to barge in. I was just looking for elf fruit.
No, it's fine. I was just going to stretch my legs.
Oh, Rook. Watch your step out there. If you put a foot wrong, you'll fall forever. Yeah, on top of everything else, the Illuvian took us to the Fade. The place where dreams come from, so... that. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Then I really need to look around.
Yeah, you should. And we should talk about things. Maybe find Nev. She's outside, looking around. There's a room with a table down the stairs. I'll meet you there.
Go ahead, Rook. Me, I need to sleep.
So don't come and disturb me, player. There's no more dialogue here. I'm having
See
a
you
nap.
later, kid.
Part 1, the Minarafras job, says the Steam achievement. Technically, the plan worked. I see. When the team acts to stop the Dread Wolf, ancient evils are unleashed upon the world. Okay, and these can kind of give us some recaps if we need. Signs and portents. Okay, there's a lot to consider here. What new stuff did we get in here? There's still the World of Fadar stuff, but nothing else. That's alright. No new reading yet. Is this base camp? Oh. Change your appearance whenever you like. You love to see it. Storage. Oh, it's the... You bought the game stuff. Change it for others or for me. That's appearance, that's helmet. What's the difference between armor and casual wear? Do I have any chiller casual wear? Armor may cause clipping in scene designed for casual wear. Well, it's nice for the heads up. They've done this since the first game. The bloody dragon thing over the shoulder. Meiji ones are kind of alright on my fella. I've always felt it was a bit much. The whole arm drape, it just harkens back to Dragon Age 1, just splattering blood on absolutely everything. It's cool that they still follow through with it, though. You will use the default appearance of whatever we've equipped for now. It's nice we can consider transmog down the line. Oh, there's stuff. I see axes. I see maces. I see more axes and pole axes. But no great swords! That article was right. There are no great swords. -5 points. Dragon Age. There's regular swords. Regular swords are not great swords. It's alright. I just have to let it go. I know now. I know for sure that there wasn't a single one in that menu. Varric, you're going to tell me you need to sleep and to go away?
I wish I could be out there with you, Rook. Just be careful, alright?
Right, we will. Adding, you've got naught to say, or I should save. When the stream's over, I will double check the hotkeys. Right, we can do it now. Hang on, while everyone's here. Why not? Controls. There's not going to be a quick save on this. No, but it was worth checking. How about keyboard? Potions, wheel, abilities, companion abilities, map, up, down, tracking, inventory. No! No quick save! That's wild. Hopefully it has, like, generous autosaves then. The library. Is this Fade place going to be our base camp? Ooh. The lighthouse. Introduction to the lighthouse. Once the lighthouse was a place of learning, with tools to study the secret workings of great magic. When Solus rebelled against those who call themselves our gods, the lighthouse became his center of operations, with tools to study the best ways to free ourselves from the tyranny of the Evanterus. You are safe here, both those of flesh and those of Fade. Any who wish to help are welcome. The magic of the lighthouse will provide for your needs, see to your comfort, and even help you understand different tongues. For those who have escaped here from distant parts of the Empire, should you have any other needs, ask for the slow arrow, and I will help. Folasan. Okay. So this is the lighthouse he mentioned. I guess we're kind of working with Solus now? Everything's kind of in ruins, but like that's where a companion's gonna be. That's where a companion's gonna be. Feels like this is hub. I need to find more casual clothes though. This is a little tight around my belly. Just a little bit. I can't get behind floating chairs. I just feel like they would wobble too much. At least we have automatic doors here. Isn't that nice?
Whoa.
Fancy place. Some outland stuff or just architecture floating into space.
Look who's with us.
Hello, Nev.
We're really in the Fade.
Land of raw magic, nightmares, and this, apparently.
It's very pretty.
It's a lot to take in.
Harding thought we should talk about what comes next.
She's not wrong. But if you need a breather, can't hurt to look around first.
Okay. You can let me wander at my leisure. Oh, I've acquired new skills. Optional. Talk to Nev and to Harding. Or have a gander about. Oh. Our tree. Right, I know the goal is to head towards Slayer. I assume library is again bits we haven't seen. Yeah, the World of Fade-ass ones are just going to sit there. So I'm going to mark these as red. Or we just bang them out now. There's a lot of them and they're all pretty long. And this is like big, have you never played Dragon Age before? There's a lot of variety in here. I'll mark them all as red for now. Maybe at the end I'll try and remember to come back to them. I feel like I won't, though. Hang on. Let me have a swig of my tea. Let's get them done. Then we only have to worry about them one at a time. And won't have this, like, blockade of them behind us. Those watching the stream in future can skip ahead to this time. Figure it out yourselves. Pardon me. Okay. The Anderfels are a part of a land of shocking extremes. It is the most desolate place in the world, for two blights have left great expanses of the steppes so completely devoid of life that corpses cannot even decay there. No insect or grub will ever reach them. It is a land filled with wonders like the Mundane, with its gigantic white statues of Our Lady carved into its face, her hands outstretched and bearing an eternal flame, a Weishaupt fortress with its walls of living rock towering over the desolate plains below. The Anders, too, are a people of extremes, the most devout priests and the most deadly soldiers, the poorest nation in the world, and the most feared. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Gentivi. Brother Gentivi's like a character in Origins. Right? I remember the name. Andraste, Bride of the Maker. There was once a tiny fishing village on the waking sea that was set upon by the Tevinter Imperium, which enslaved the villagers to be sold in the markets of Minrathous, leaving behind only the old and the infirm. One of the captives was the child Andraste. She was raised in slavery in a foreign land. She escaped and made the long and treacherous journey back to her homeland alone. She rose from nothing to be the wife of Almari warlord. Each day she sang to the gods, asking them to help her people who remained slaves in Tevinter. The false gods of the mountains and the winds did not answer her, but the true God did. The Maker spoke. He showed her all the works of his hands, the Fade, the world, and all the creatures therein. He showed her how men had forgotten him, lavishing devotion upon mute idols and demons, and how he had left them to their fate. But her voice had reached him, and so captivated him, that he offered her a place at his side, that she might rule all of creation. But Andraste would not forsake her people. She begged the Maker to return, to save his children from the cruelty of the Imperium. Reluctantly, the Maker agreed to give man another chance. Andraste went back to her husband, Manferaf, and told him that the Maker had revealed to her. Together they rallied the Almari and marched forth against the mage lords of the Imperium, and the Maker was with them. The Maker's sword was creation itself, fire and flood, famine and earthquake. Everywhere they went, Andraste sang to the people of the Maker, and they heard her. The ranks of Andraste's followers grew until they were a vast tide washing over the Imperium. And when Marifat... the names are going to get me as we go up. I apologise up front. Mafaraf saw that the people loved Andraste and not him. A worm grew within his heart, gnawing upon it. At last, the armies of Andraste and Mafaraf stood before the very gates of Minrathous. Andraste was not with them. Mafaraf had schemed in secret to hand Andraste over to the Tevinter. For this, the Archon would give Mafaraf all the lands to the south of the Waking Sea. And so, before all the armies of Almari and of Tevinter, Andraste was tied to a stake and burned, while her earthly husband turned his armies aside and did nothing, for his heart had been devoured. But as he watched the pyre, the Archon softened. He took pity on Andraste and drew his sword, and granted her the mercy of a quick death. The Maker wept for his beloved, cursed Mafaraf, cursed mankind for their betrayal, and turned once again from creation, taking only Andraste with him. And Our Lady sits still at his side, where she still urges him to take pity on his children. And Brown chat, now we'll have to go play a dwarf two-handed warrior in DOA. Playing Andromeda right now with all the new skins to a community patch and a couple of other things to make it more. Wow, it's lovely to hear that folks are still looking after Andromeda. It's hit and miss for me. I had to give up on it from finishing just because of how buggy it got. Enemies kept spawning into walls and I could not deal with it. But glad you're having fun. you're off to play other stuff. Thanks for sticking around, bub. I'll see you next time. For now, I'm going to keep going through these stories. And that was from the sermons of Justinia II. We got 26 more to go. Buckle up. Antiva. In the rest of the civilized world, it is common belief that Antiva has no king. I assure you, gentle readers, this is untrue. The line of kings is Antiv... Is it Antivia or Antiva? I remember him calling himself Antivan Crows. It's remained unbroken for 2,500 years. It's simply that nobody pays any attention to them whatsoever. In truth, the nation is ruled by a collection of merchant princes. They are not princes in the literal sense, but heads of banks, trading companies and vineyards. Their power is conferred strictly by wealth. Antiva is not primarily renowned for its particular form of government, nor its admittedly unparalleled wines. Antiva is known for the House of Crows. Since Antivans are well known for being good at everything but fighting, it is more than a little ironic that Antiva possesses the most deadly assassins in the world. Their fame is such that Antiva keeps no standing army. No king is willing to order his troops to assault her borders, and no general is mad enough to lead such an invasion. The attack would likely succeed, but its leaders would not see the day. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Trantley Scholar, by Brother Genetivi. Yet again, he's going to have written a lot of these. Arthur, this is the place we just walked through. Part 1. Before the ages were named or numbered, our people were glorious and eternal and never changing. At the great oak tree, they were constant in their traditions, strong in their roots, and ever reaching for the sky. They felt no need to rush when life was endless. They worshipped their gods for months at a time. Decisions came after decades of debate, and an introduction could last for years. From time to time, our ancestors would drift into centuries-long slumber. But this was not death. For we know they wandered the fade in dreams. In those ages, our people called all the land Elfhelen, which in the old language means place of our people. At the centre of the world stood the great city of Arthalan. Arlathan, a place of knowledge and debate, where the best of the ancient elves would go to trade knowledge, greet old friends, and settle disputes that had gone on for millennia. While our ancestors were caught up in the forever cycle of ages, drifting through life at what we today would consider an intolerable pace, the world outside, the lush forest and ancient trees, was changing. The humans first arrived from Parvolan to the north, called Shemlin, or Quicklings by the ancients. The humans were pitiful creatures, whose lives blinked by in an instant. When they first met the elves, the humans were brash and warlike, quick to anger and quicker to fight, with no patience for the unhurried pace of elven diplomacy. But the humans brought worse things than war with them. Our ancestors proved susceptible to human diseases. Oh no. And for the first time in history, elves died of natural causes. What's more, those elves who spent time bartering and negotiating with humans found themselves aging, tainted by humans' brash and impatient lives. Many believed that the ancient gods had judged them unworthy of their long lives and cast them down among the quicklings. Our ancestors came to look upon the humans as parasites, which I understand is similar to the way humans see our people in the cities. The ancient elves immediately moved to close Iluvhan off from the humans, for fear that this quickening effect would crumble the civilization. From the fall of Arthalan, as told by Gisharel, keeper of the Ralaferin clan of Dalish elves. That sounds like my elven clan from Origins. Fancy. Just have a swig of my beverage. Also, this, I feel, given our enemies are ancient elven gods, is actually pretty relevant. Okay, a quarter of the way there. Bit less than that. The Dalish elves. I took the road from Valroyo towards Nevarro with a merchant caravan. Scant 2 days past the Orlesian border, we were beset by bandits. They struck without warning from the cover of the trees, hammering our wagons with arrows, killing most of the caravan guards instantly. The few who survived the arrow storm drew their blades and charged into the trees after our attackers. We heard screams muffled by the forest, and then nothing more of those men. After a long silence, the bandits appeared. Elves covered in tattoos and dressed in hides. They looted all the supplies and valuables they could carry from the merchants and disappeared back into the trees. These, I was informed later, were the Dalish, the wild elves who lurk in the wilderness on the fringes of settled lands, preying upon travellers and isolated farmers. These wild elves have reverted to the worship of their false gods, and are rumoured to practice their own form of magic, rejecting all human society. That's Brother Genitivi yet again. Crows and Queen Madrigal. The first crow refused to speak, even when we put hot coals to the sole of his feet and peeled the skin off his face and hands with a paring knife. Oh! He opted instead to chew through his own tongue and choke to death on the blood. Wow. Commitment. The second captive repeated what we already knew. Queen Madrigal went on a hunt and did not appear for the evening's festivities. Her body was later found with 4 steel swords through the chest. I asked what he knew about one of the 4 swords being a replica of Hesarian's Sword of Mercy. He had not heard about that, or at least claimed as much. He later died on the rack, smiling slightly. The third crow must have realised he would not leave the dungeon alive. He seemed to hope that by angering Master Fior, he would earn himself a quick death. Crow tried our patience with pithy comments while Master Fior was trying to work. At one point, he made a remark about Fior's mother, which I shall not repeat here. I will admit to feeling admiration for his ability to retain a capacity for coherent speech, and even some wit, while under extreme duress. Amid all his useless chatter, this third crow did raise an important point. His guild has a reputation to uphold. They are ruthless, efficient, and discreet. How would they maintain such notoriety if agents routinely revealed the names of employers with something as banal as torture? This gave me pause. Called for a halt to the session. After some thought, I stabbed the man through the heart and set the 4th and 5th crow captives free. If there was a confession to be extracted, it will not be done with pain. I recommend we abandon this course of action. I like that. A report by Captain Arcitide, tasked with investigating the assassination of Queen Madrigal of Antiva. That's pretty good. Sets up the crows nicely. Beyond the veil, spirits and demons. It is challenging enough for the casual observer to tell the difference between the Fade and the creatures that live within it, let alone between one type of spirit and another. In truth, there is little that distinguishes them, even for the most astute mages. Since spirits are not physical entities, and therefore not restricted to recognizable forms, or even having a form at all, one can never tell for certain what is alive and what is merely part of the scenery. It is therefore advisable for the inexperienced researcher to greet all objects he encounters. Oh no. Typically, we misuse the term spirit to only refer to the benign, or at least less malevolent creatures of the Fade, but in truth, all the denizens of the realm beyond the veil are spirits. As the chant of light notes, everything within the Fade is a mimicry of our world. A poor imitation, for the spirits do not remotely understand what they are copying. It is no surprise that much of the Fade appears like a manuscript translated from Tevinter into Orlesian and back again by drunken initiates. In general, spirits are not complex. Or rather, they are not complex as we understand such things. Each one seizes upon a single facet of human experience: rage, hunger, compassion, hope, etc. This one idea becomes their identity. We classify as demons those spirits who identify themselves with darker human emotions and ideas. The most common and weakest form of demons encountered in the Fade is the rage demon. They are much like perpetually boiling kettles, for they exist only to vent hatred, but rarely have an object to hate. Somewhat above these are the hunger demons, who do little but eat or attempt to eat everything they encounter, including other demons. This is rarely successful. Then there are the sloth demons. These are the first intelligent creatures one typically finds in the Fade. They're dangerous only on those rare occasions that they can be induced to get up and do harm. Remember that from the first game. Desire demons are more clever and far more powerful, using all forms of bribery to induce mortals into their realm. Wealth, love, vengeance, whatever lies closest to your heart. The most powerful demons yet encountered are the pride demons. Perhaps because they, among all their kind, most resemble men. From beyond the veil, spirits and demons by enchanter Maidramel. Don't recognise that name. Me poor throat. We keep going. Want to get them sorted? Arlathan Part 2. You ask what happened to Arlathan? Sadly, we do not know. Even those of us who keep the ancient lore have no record of what truly happened. What we have are accounts of the days before the fall and a fable of the whims of the gods. The human world was changing even as the elves slept. Clans and tribes gave way to a powerful empire called Tevinter, which, and for what reason we do not know, moved to conquer Elfhenan. We'll get there eventually. When they breached the great city of Arthalan, our people, fearful of disease and loss of immortality, chose to flee rather than fight. With magic, demons, and even dragons at their behest, the Tevinter Imperium marched easily through Arthalan, destroying homes and galleries and amphitheatres that stood for ages. Our people were corralled as slaves, and human contact quickened their veins until every captured elf turned mortal. The elves called to their ancient gods, but there was no answer. As to why the gods didn't answer, our people left only a legend. They say that Fen'Harel, the Dread Wolf and Lord of Tricksters, approached the ancient gods of good and evil and proposed a truce. The gods of good would remove themselves to the heaven, and the lords of evil would exile themselves to the abyss, neither group ever again to enter the other's lands. But the gods did not know that Fen'Harel had planned to betray them. By the time they realized the Dreadwolf's treachery, they were sealed in their respective realms, never again to interact with the mortal world. It is a fable, to be sure. Those elves who travel the beyond claim that Fen'Harel still roams the world of dreams, keeping watch over the gods, lest they escape from their prisons. Whatever the case, Arlathan had fallen to the very humans our people had once considered mere pests. It is said that the Tevinter Magisters used their great destructive power to force the very ground to swallow Arthalan whole, destroying aeons of collected knowledge, culture, and art, the whole of elven lore, left only to memory. That's again by Gisharel, the clan of Dalish elves. Whew. How many more rows have I got? 5 more. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I know if I don't do it now, I'll say I'll do it in later streams and I never will. The Deep Roads. There isn't a dwarf alive who I'm going Scottish for him. Who remembers the Deep Roads as they once were. They were the network of tunnels that joined the Taigs together. They weren't actually Scottish in origins. To be honest, it isn't even right to give them such a simple term as tunnels. They're works of art, with centuries of planning demonstrated in the geometry of their walls, with the statues of the paragons that watch over travellers, with the flow of lava that keeps the deep roads lit and warm. Cloud gazers up on the surface talk of the Imperial Highway built by magisters of old, a raised walkway that crossed thousands of miles, something that could only have been built by magic. Perhaps it is comparable to the deep roads, although we dwarves needn't need magic. Suppose it doesn't matter anymore. Darkspawn rule the deep roads now. When Orzammar sealed off the entrances to the deep roads, abandoning everything that lay out there, we handed over the kingdom that was to those black bastards forever. To think that there are genlocks crawling over Barnamar now, tearing down our statues and defiling our greatest works. Corruption covers everything we built out there. Every dwarf who goes out and comes back says it gets worse with each passing year. Foulness spread a little further. And the cloud gazers think the Darkspawn are gone just because they aren't spilling out onto the surface. One day, when Orzammar is gone for good, they'll find out differently. Those Darkspawn won't have anywhere else to go but up, and they'll do it. Surface folk will have themselves a blight that will never end. Transcript of a conversation with a member of the Dwarven Mining Cast. 890. Blessed. The years on the calendar. The Fade. Study of the Fade is as old as humankind. So long as men have dreamed, we have walked its twisting paths, sometimes catching a glimpse of the city at its heart, always as close to our own thoughts, but impossibly separated from our world. The Tevinter Imperium once spent vast fortunes of gold, lyrium, and human slaves in an effort to map the terrain of the Fade, an ultimately futile endeavour. Although portions of it belong to powerful spirits, all of the Fade is in constant flux. The Imperium succeeded in finding the disparate and ever-shifting realms of a dozen demon lords, as well as cataloguing a few hundred types of spirits, before they were forced to abandon the project. The relationship of dreamers to the Fade is complex. Even when entering the Fade through use of lyrium, mortals are not able to control or affect it. Spirits who dwell there, however, can. And as the Chantry teaches us, the great flaw of the spirits is that they neither have imagination nor ambition. They create what they see through their sleeping visitors, building elaborate copies of our cities, people, and events, which, like the reflections in a mirror, ultimately lack context or a life of their own. Even the most powerful demons merely plagiarize the worst thoughts and fears of mortals and build their realm with no other ambition than to taste life. From tranquility and the role of the Fade in human culture, I first enchanted Josephus. Name rings a slight bell. Fen'Harel, the Dread Wolf. There is precious little we know about Fen'Harel, for they say he did not care for our people. Elganan and Mithral created the world as we know it. Oh, that was, Flemeth? Was it Flemeth? Morrigan's mother? The old lady from 1 and 2? I'm pretty sure Solus killed her at the end of the last game, after it was revealed she was an elven god too. Much sadness. Loved that character. Voice acting was mwah. Anduril taught us the ways of the hunter. Delays and June gave us fire and crafting, but Fen'Harel kept to himself and plotted the betrayal of all the gods. After the destruction of Arthalan, when the gods could no longer hear our prayers, it is said that Fen'Harel spent centuries in a corner of the earth, giggling madly and hugging himself in glee. It's a funny image for a wolf. The legends say that before the fall of Arthalan, gods we know and revere fought an endless war with others of their kind. There is not a Haren among us who remembers these others. Only in dreams do we hear whispered the names of Gel Dahuran and Daharenthal and Anaris, but they are the forgotten ones, gods of terror and malice, spite and pestilence. In ancient times, only Fen'Harel could walk without fear among both our gods and the forgotten ones. For although he is kin to the gods of the people, the forgotten ones knew of his cunning ways, and saw him as one of their own. And that is how Fen'Harel tricked them. Our gods saw him as brother, and they trusted him when he said that they must keep to the heavens while he arranged a truce. And the Forgotten Ones trusted him also, when he said he would arrange for the defeat of our gods, if only the Forgotten Ones would return to the Abyss for a time. They trusted Fen'Harel, and they were all of them betrayed. And Fen'Harel sealed them away. They could never again walk among the people. That's also from Gisharel of the Ralaferin, Dalish elves. Oh, Ferelden, this is Dragon Age 1. Oh, I miss good old Ferelden. It's doggos. The Fereldans are a puzzle. As a people, they are one bad day away from reverting to barbarism. They repelled invasions from Tevinter during the height of the Imperium, with nothing but dogs and their own obstinate disposition. They are coarse, willful, dirty, disorganized people who somehow gave rise to our prophet, ushered in an era of enlightenment, and toppled the greatest empire in history. There are a few things you can assume safely in dealing with these people. First, they value loyalty above all things, beyond wealth, power, reason. Second, although they have nothing in their entire country which you are likely to think all that remarkable, they are extremely proud of their accomplishments. Third, if you insult their dogs, they are likely to declare war. And finally, the surest sign that you have underestimated the Fereldans is that you think you have come to understand them. From Empress Selene I of Orlais, in a letter to a newly appointed ambassador in Denerim. Oh, bless. Denerim was like the city you spent a lot of time in 1 as well. Okay. Not far off now. Almost halfway there. Lyrium is the king of metals, Beneath our feet it sings. When properly refined, it is a smooth, slightly iridescent, silvery liquid. In the hands of the dwarven smithcast, it is mixed with steel to produce indestructible armour and blades that hold an edge for centuries. In the hands of the shaperate, it becomes a repository for living memories. And some scholars maintain that this is evidence that lyrium itself is alive. It finds most lucrative its application in the hands of the Formari, who use it in conjunction with baser metals like gold, silverite, viridium, or even iron, to produce enchantments. Though mages, of course, consume it in a diluted form to bolster their abilities, this is not recommended. Overindulgence in lyrium can have disastrous consequences, particularly in more concentrated amounts. It is not advisable, for instance, that any reader handle raw lyrium, which in many cases can kill on contact. Excerpts from an Alchemical Primer of Metallurgy, Volume 1, by Lord Serast, of Marnas Pell. I wonder if any of these names will be people we meet. The Imperial Chantry. There are those who would tell you that the Chantry is the same everywhere as it is here, that the divine in Val'Raya reigns supreme in the eyes of the Maker, and that this fact is unquestioned throughout Phaedus. Do not believe it. The Maker's second commandment, magic must serve man, not rule over him, never held the same meaning within the ancient Tevinter Imperium as it did elsewhere. Chantry there interpreted the rule as meaning that mages should never control the minds of other men, and that otherwise their magic should benefit the rulers of men as much as possible. When clerics of Tevinter altered the chant of light to reflect this interpretation of the commandment, the divine in Val'Raya ordered the clerics to revert to the original chant. They refused, claiming corruption within Val'Raya, an argument that grew until, in 387 Towers, the Chantry in Tevinter elected its own legitimate and uncorrupted divine Valhael, who was not only male, but also happened to be one of the most prominent members of the Tevinter Circle of Magi. This black divine was reviled outside Tevinter, his existence an offence to the Chantry in Val'Raya. After 4 exalted marches to dislodge these rebels, all that the Chantry in Val'Raya accomplished was to cement the separation. I don't know why he's getting more officious as we go. While most aspects of the Imperial Chantry's teachings are the same, prohibitions against magic have been more weakened. Male priests have become more prevalent. The Circle of Magi today rules Tevinter directly, ever since Archon Nomaran was elected in 734 Storm, directly from the ranks of the enchanters, to great applause from the public. He dispensed with the old rules forbidding mages from taking part in politics, and within an age, the true rulers within the various imperial houses, the mages, took their place openly within the government. The Imperial Divine is now always drawn from the ranks of the first enchanters, and operates as Divine and Grand Enchanter both. This is utter heresy to any member of the Chantry outside of Tevinter, a return to the days of the Magisters, which brought the blight down upon us. But it exists, and even though we have left the Tevinter Imperium to the mercies of the dread Kunari, still they have endured. Further confrontation between the Black Divine and our so-called White Divine is inevitable. From Edicts of the Black Divine by Father David of Quinaris, 811 Blessed. I have, in the bookcase behind me, the World of Phaedus, big lore book they did for Dragon. There's been maybe 2 or 3 more of them released. I only ever got the first one because it was a limited run. I'm pretty sure it listed all the ages in there. I'm going to have a read of it sometime. Majestic bastards. Oh, I'm going to need a drink for this one. I'll go more broad with it. I remember the second last one. I wouldn't get closer than 60 feet, double the wingspan. That left you time to move. The beast was too weak to do much. Still, seemed respectful to keep the distance and leave its end to animal and trainer. She starved out, not the way they should go, and not the way I was used to seeing them. Oh, they were majestic bastards, and they knew it. That skinny warden dumped arse over ears for not picking nits. See, trainer and beast had a kingship, and both knew what they wanted. For Griffin, that bond meant grooming. Couldn't fault them. They needed what they needed. I mean, what's fair for saddling a warden commander, full plate, lightning storm, sheer dive straight through an archdemon's wing? Legendary, you can't argue. But back on the ground, they knew they were owed. And you couldn't shortcut and douse them. They all had the majesty of a paddling rat if you waterlogged the feathers. No, it was a grueling task of preening 30 bloody feet of wing. And you'd better remember, or maybe the thing got pissy next flight and cut an oak too close, give you a love tap so hard your next elm dented. Still, everything in balance, every talon tipped, there was nothing that compared. You could reach down from the sky and cradle Phaedus in your hand. Anyway, yes, I remember the second last one. After she dropped, the robes took some cross-cuts, as they do things like that. Then we burned it. And then I got drunk. I do not remember the very last, and you can't make me. Comments of an unnamed Grey Warden, excerpted from Weissup's record of the extinction of the treasured species, liberated for public consideration by Philium, a bard. Fantastic. The Grey Wardens. The blight had ravaged the land for months. The armies of the great kings amassed for one last stand, as the sun burst through the clouds that boiled and churned in the dark sky. It illuminated a vast seething horde of darkspawn with the archdemon at its head. It was then, when courage seemed to fail and all lost to death and despair, that the Grey Wardens came. They arrived with the beating of wings like mighty war drums and stood before the armies of men. The Grey Wardens, grim and fearless, marched forth. Ever between men and the encroaching darkspawn, they formed a shield of their own bodies and held that line until the archdemon was dead and the last darkspawn lay trampled in the dirt. Then, demanding neither reward nor recognition for their sacrifice, the Grey Wardens departed. When the clouds rolled back and the sun shone fully upon the blighted ground, the great kings knew they had lost no men, that none of their blood had been spilled. This is a tale about no battle the Grey Wardens have fought, and yet about them all. They have always defended us from darkspawn, taking losses, so we do not have to. Adaptation of a Grey Warden legend. Tale outlined above is widely told, although subject to regional variations. Remarchers might substitute great kings for titles bestowed in their given city-states. In Ferelden, the implied army of wardens is sometimes replaced with 2. Aww. The first game. Representatives of the national heroes who fought and defeated the archdemon at Denerim during the 5th Blight. Yeah. The beating of wings is a reference to the griffins the wardens are said to have ridden into battle. Though griffins went extinct long before the recent Blight, they still appear in numerous stories, sometimes serving as a metaphor for the warden's unrestrained courage, but also employed to please an eager audience. From Tales of the Wardens by Sister Manon. Wasn't she the priest in Denerim? Okay, 3 rows left. We're nearly there. For those still coming along, bless you for not just being like, really, shut up. Or maybe you've fallen asleep to the storytelling tones. The Magisterium. There is a mistaken impression outside Tevinter Imperium that a Magister is simply a mage, and the mere act of being a mage is all that's required to be among the ruling class. A misperception aided, no doubt, by some Tevinter mages claiming the title outside their homeland to take advantage of its reputation. In truth, being a Magister requires one to hold a seat in the Magisterium, the upper houses of the Imperial Senate. This is the body that makes laws, which chooses the new Archon if there is no approved heir. The Senate's lower house, the Publicanium, consists of elected officials, but it has no true power, and is considered a bureaucratic body. Magisters, meanwhile, come from the ranks of the Circle of Magi and the Imperial Chantry, but most hold their seats by virtue of an Archon having granted it to their family long ago. It is not technically required for a Magister to be a mage. Indeed, after the Transfiguration that saw the old gods abandoned and Andrastism embraced, most were not. Since the Tower's age, however, non-mages in the Magisterium have slowly been weeded out. A true Magister is thus a figure of real power in Tevinter. All other mages serve at their pleasure. And any mage not of a proper lineage has no influence outside of which personal wealth and talent provide. From a Chantry scholar. It's interesting also knowing, like, the individual who writes these excerpts, like, it is coloured by the author as well, and those different perspectives. I find it's a very interesting writing challenge. Oh, the Prayer of the Maker, eh? Oh boy. Pretty sure they sang this in the first game. There was no word, for heaven or for earth, for sea or sky. All that existed was silence, and the voice of the Maker rang out, the first word, and his word became all that might be, dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. And from it made his firstborn, and he said to them, In my image I forge you. To you I give dominion over all that exists. By your will may all things be done. I feel like I should be saying this with my hands closed in prayer. A slight cadence to the voice. Then in the centre of heaven he called forth a city with towers of gold, streets with music for cobblestones, and banners which flew without wind. There he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. The children of the Maker gathered before his golden throne, sang hymns of praise unending. But their songs were the songs of the cobblestones. They shone with the golden light, reflected from the Maker's throne. They held forth the banners that flew on their own. And the voice of the Maker shook the Fade, saying, In my image I have wrought, my firstborn you have been given dominion. Over all that exists by your will, all things are done, yet you do nothing. The realm I have given you is formless, ever-changing. And he knew he had wrought amiss. So the Maker turned from his firstborn and took from the Fade a measure of its living flesh, and placed it apart from the spirits, and spoke to it, saying, Here I decree opposition in all things, for earth, sky, for winter, summer, for darkness, light. By my will alone is balance sundered, and the world given new life. I don't think this was the one in the first game. Doesn't feel as clear-cut, interestingly. And no longer was it formless, ever-changing, but held fast, immutable, with words for heaven and for earth, sea and sky. At last did the Maker, from the living world, make men, immutable as the substance of the earth, with souls made of dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. And the Maker said, To you, my second-born, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn an unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. From the fate I crafted you, and to the fate you shall return, each night in my dreams, that you may always remember me. Then the Maker sealed the gates of the golden city, and there he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. Eleanor dies 518. Like Bible stuff is the equivalent. I thought we already knew the Golden City was just a place that either the Tevinter mages, broke into, and it was where the elven gods were. I'm sure that was answered at some point. Nevarra. Now this is one I don't quite know too well. Both time I attempted to cross the border into Nevarra from Orlais and was turned back by Chevaliers. I decided to take a more roundabout path. A ship back to Ferelden, and another to Nevarra. The outcome was more than worth the trouble. The whole country is filled with artistry, from the statues of heroes that litter the streets in even the meanest villages to the glittering gold College of Magi in Cumberland. Perhaps nowhere is more astonishing than the vast necropolis outside Nevarra city. Unlike most other followers of Andraste, Nevarrans do not burn their dead. Instead, they carefully preserve the bodies and seal them in elaborate tombs. Some of the wealthiest Nevarrans begin construction of their own tombs while quite young, and these become incredible palaces, complete with gardens, bathhouses, and ballrooms, utterly silent, kept only for the dead. Fascinating, so I assume this is where the necromancers all come from. That's pretty cool. Your Legion Empire. There are many lords and ladies in Val Royeaux, and I mean this literally. Once the system of noble titles in Orlais was a labyrinthine. There were barons and baronesses and baronets and sir barons and a horde of others, each with its own origins and its own nuances of comparison. The Orlesian aristocracy is ancient and much given to competition. All the nobility play the grand game, as it is known, whether they wish to or not. I don't know where this accent came from. It is a game of reputation and patronage, where moves are made with rumours and scandal is the chief weapon. No gentle game, this. More blood has been drawn as a result of the grand game than any war the Orlesians have fought. Of this, I am most assured by every gentleman here. As far as titles went, everything changed with the coming of Emperor Dracon. who established the Orlesian Empire as it exists. I'm pretty sure Orlesian's French. And I am not doing French, I don't know where I am. And who created the Chantry. It's no more venerated figure in Olay, in Valorio. The statue of Drakon stands as tall as the statue of Andraste. Drakon determined that the Grand Game was tearing Olay apart. So he abolished all titles beside his own, and Lord and Lady. I am told with some twittering amusement that this action did not end the Grand Game as Drakon had intended. That the Lords and Ladies collected unofficial titles rather than official ones, such as the Exalted Patron of Tassus Clay or Uncle to the Champion of Tremes. It is a headache to remember such titles, and one winces to think of the poor doorman at the ball who must rattle them off as each guest enters the room. The aristocracy is different from Ferelden in other ways as well. The Orlesians' right to rule stems directly from the Maker. There exists neither the concept of rule by merit nor the slightest notion of rebellion. If one is not noble, one aspires to be. Or the least aspires to be in the good graces of a noble. And is ever watching for a way to enter the patronage of those better placed in the Grand Game. And then there are the masks, and the cosmetics. I have not seen so much paint since the kennels at Highever. But that is another story. From Beyond the Frostbacks by Ban Terriric of Westhill, 920 Dragon. I apologise for whoever that accent will have offended. I don't know where it came from. Surface Dwarves. In Orzammar, dwarven society is divided into rigid castes with houses that compete for power and prestige. All that is discarded when a dwarf abandons the stone for the surface. Under the open sky, everyone is equal. So the story goes. The truth is that thousands of years of tradition are not so easily tossed aside. Even though surface dwarves are officially stripped of their caste, many maintain a hierarchy among themselves along the old caste lines. Formerly noble houses are accorded more respect than casteless brands who come up in search of opportunity. The poorest noble dwarf on the surface looks upon the rich lower caste dwarves with contempt. Upper-class surface dwarf society is roughly divided into two camps. Kalnas, who insist on maintaining caste and rank, typically those from the noble or merchant caste families, and Ascendants, those who believe in leaving Orzammar's traditions underground and embracing life in the sunlit world. Maintaining some tie to Orzammar was seen for generations as the only lifeline for surface dwarves. Bringing surface goods to their kin underground and lyrium and metals to the surface was not only the most lucrative means of making a living, also a sort of sacred duty, as many surface dwarves willingly accepted exile and the loss of their caste to better serve their house or patron. In recent years, many surface dwarves, particularly Ascendants, have branched out. They started banks, mercenary companies, and overland trade caravans. They became investors and speculators in purely surface trade. These new industries have proven tremendous sources of wealth, but are looked down upon by their more conservative kin. For less affluent surface dwarves, association with a powerful clan can open many doors. They can get credit with dwarven merchants, and they're offered work opportunities by the powerful Dwarven Merchants Guild more readily, sometimes more than qualified but less connected individuals. From the Dowager's Field Guide to Good Society by Lady Aclone. Fascinating. 7 more. Sexuality in Phaedus. What I find most interesting is that despite the lack of open discussion on matters of human sexuality, there is a commonality to be found on the subject in all of Andrastian lands. Typically, one's sexual habits are considered natural and separate from matters of procreation, and only among the nobility, where procreation involves issues of inheritance and the union of powerful families, is it considered of vital importance. Yet, even there, a noble who has done their duty to the family might be allowed to pursue their own sexual interests without raising eyebrows. The view on indulging lust with a member of the same gender varies from land to land. In Olay, it is considered a quirk of character and nothing more. In Ferelden, it is a matter of scandal if done indiscreetly, but otherwise nothing noteworthy. In Tevinter, it is considered selfish and deviant behaviour among nobles, but is actively encouraged with favoured slaves. Nowhere is it forbidden, and sex of any kind is only considered worthy of judgment when taken to the awful excess or performed in the public eye. Solid, I'd say. And that's Brother Genitivi. My, Brother Genitivi's written a lot of these. He's done really well. Ravain. This was where Isabel was from, I think. Can't quite remember. Our roguish friend in Dragon Age 2. Nowhere in my travels, not in the heart of the Imperium nor the streets of Ozma, have I felt so much an outsider as in Ravane. Chant of Light never truly reached the ears of these people. The years they spent under the thumb of the Qunari left most of the country's zealous followers of the Qun. The resistance to the chant goes deeper than the Qunari War. The Ravanian refuse to be parted from their seers, wise women who are in fact hedge mages communicating with spirits and actually allowing themselves to become possessed. Chantry prohibition against such magical practices violates millennia of local tradition. I know, I don't remember much about a lot of the cities we've never visited and the countries. Ravane sounds fascinating to me, and I just loved all the stuff with the Qunari. Speaking of, Qunari, the people of the Qun are perhaps the least understood group in Phaedas. Qunari wars were brutal, so was the Chantry Schism, so was the fall of the Imperium. Some of this misunderstanding is an accident of nature. The race we call Qunari are formidable. Nature has given them fierce horns and strange eyes, and the ignorant look on them and see monsters. Some is an accident of language. Few among the Qun's people speak the common tongue. Fewer speak it well. In a culture that strives for mastery, to have only a passable degree of skill is humiliating indeed, and so they have often kept quiet among foreigners out of shame. But much of it is the result of the culture itself. The Qunari view their whole society as a single creature, a living entity whose health and well-being is responsibility of all, and each individual is only a tiny part of the whole, a drop of blood in its veins. Important not for itself, but for what it is to the whole creature. Because of this, the Qunari most outsiders meet belong to the army, which the Qun regards as if it were physical body parts, arms, legs, eyes and ears. The things a creature needs in order to interact with the world. One cannot get to know a person solely by studying his hand or his foot, and so one cannot truly meet the Qunari until one has visited their cities. That is where their mind and souls dwell. In Saharan and Parvolan, one can truly see the Qunari in their entirety. There, the unification of the Qunari into a single being is most evident. Workers, whom the Qun call the mind, produce everything the Qunari require. The soul, the priesthood, seeks a greater understanding of the self, the world, and exhorts the body and mind to continually strive for perfection. The body serves as the go-between for the mind, the soul, and the world. Every one and everything has its place, decided by the Qun, in which they work for the good of the whole. It is a life of certainty, of equality, if not individuality. The writings of the seer Kontar, 841, blessed. Or more. Tevinter Society. For those outside of the Tevinter Imperium, it's easy to imagine a society filled with mages and elven slaves and little else. In truth, there are 3 different Tevinters, each of them a world completely separated from the others. There are the mages, the land's nobility, completely obsessed with competing for supremacy with each other, almost to the exclusion of paying any heed to the nation's enemies, such as the Qunari. The well-bred Altus sneer at the Latans, who in turn sneer at the Praetiri. They vie in dominance in the magisterium. A faction shift and a flow on a daily basis with deadly consequence, requiring every family to put on a veneer of perfect citizenship or face scandal and censure. Then there are the so-called Supparati, the sleepers. These are the non-magical citizens who vastly outnumber the mages, yet are beholden to their whims. Many are resentful of this status, plotting in secret, even as they secretly hope their children will possess magical talent. An enticing lure, since the talent could conceivably show up in anyone, even a slave. It would be easy to forget that the Tevinter possesses a massive class of publicans, civil servants and leaders of the legionnaires. It has an enormous merchant class, enough teeming poor to drown any other nation in Phaedas, and the shadowy thieves called Presumptor, who are practically treated with respect. And then there are the slaves. One would think they, at least, see each other as equals, but it is not so. The divide between the free liberati, those who act as personal servants to the magisters, those who work on farms and factories, and the servus publicus, who do all the tasks proper citizens will not. It is all but insurmountable, but perhaps in emulation of those who own them. Imperial slaves will connive and scheme to try anyhow. Outsiders might see it as futile, but to divinity citizens, the national social classes are the most mutable and rewarding of merit in all of Fadas. Another one from Brother TV. Heyo, Alan in the chat. It's going alright. We've been enjoying the intro through it. I just wanted to get the codex stuff read that was already here. The World of Fadas bit that we've been going through here, we've got the last 3 to get to, was the only one that was fully filled out. Every other bit of codex we can read as we go. So on this first stream, as we're kind of starting to hit the end of the tutorial and intro section, I just wanted to storytell and get all these bits banged out. So I can absorb it on some level as well. Oh. But I'm very much enjoying it. The intro is pretty good. Character creation very extensive. I'm new as of July 22nd. Stream some WoW in a morning, stream other games on an evening. It's going to be a lot of Dragon Age from this point on. How's it going for you this evening, Alan? You doing alright? Let me crack on with the next one. Feel free to respond. I'll get to you once I get through this next set. The Veil. I detest this notion that the Veil is some manner of invisible curtain that separates the world of the living from the world of the spirits. Whether it be called the Fade or the Beyond is a matter of racial politics I refuse to indulge in at the moment. There is no this side and that side when it comes to the Veil. One cannot think of it as a physical thing, or a barrier, or even a shimmering wall of holy light. Thank you very much for that image of perfection. I'm glad to hear you good, Alan. As I say, I started streaming on the 22nd of July earlier this year. So it's been a few months now. Think of the Veil instead, as opening one's eyes. Before you opened them, you saw our world, and as you see it now, static, solid, unchanging. Now that they are open, you see our world as the spirits see it, chaotic, ever-changing, a realm where the imagined and the remembered have as much substance as that which is real. More, in fact. The spirit sees everything as defined by will and memory. This is why they are so very lost when they cross the Veil. In our world, imagination has no substance. Objects exist independently of how we remember them or what emotions we associate with them. Mages alone possess the power to change the world with their minds, and perhaps this form of the nature of a demon's attraction to them, who can say? Regardless, the act of passing through the Veil is much more about changing one's perceptions than a physical transition. Veil is an idea. It is the act of transitioning itself. And it is only the fact that both living beings and spirits find the transition difficult that gives the Veil any credence as a physical barrier at all. From a dissertation on the Fade as a physical manifestation by Mereo, Senior Enchanter of the Miraphid Circle of Magi, 655 Steel. That was a really different look at the Fade than, say, the one we read earlier. I am not also on Twitch. When I started, as so often happens in life, I tend to go very gung-ho with trying new things. And in the past, I've been overwhelmed, overworked, gone in too deep, and everything's collapsed on itself. So I wanted to take the time, see how we go on YouTube, and as I get more and more comfortable with streaming, then I'll start considering multi-streaming and stuff like that. It's certainly on the cards, but at the moment, keeping it to one thing, managing that. It's working okay. Things are growing. Vitar. After extensive study of the Kunari specimens you kindly provided, I've come to the conclusion that the painted markings on their face and body are not, in fact, solely for ceremonial purposes, but provide a practical benefit. I'm certain there's some cultural significance to the patterns and colours they choose. The Kunari do nothing without purpose, yes? I'm trying to remember what this was in Dragon Age 2. Let's say, Alan, I play WoW most mornings. It's my, constant go-to. My bit of comfort food. I tend to prefer fantasy, but I'm open to a lot. At the moment, there's, say, a big back catalogue I'm getting through of AA, indie stuff, some AAA bits and bobs, live services I want to go back to. If you look on the channel, we've got playlists for all the games we've played previously up there ready for people to binge, perhaps they wished. For example, I started with Hades 2, then we had Warhammer Bolt Gun, Oh, what was next? Our mind's drawing a blank. We've just absorbed so much lore. My apologies. Oh, we did a bit of 2XKO, the fighting game alpha test for the League of Legends fighting game. We did Space Marine 2 more recently. It's all sorts of stuff. There'll be much more as the future comes. We call these markings Vitar, which in their tongue means poison armor. Ooh. It's called this because the markings are magical in nature and actually harden their skin to an iron-like quality without hindering flexibility. My analysis says the paint consists largely of poison. It's mixed with something else. Blood, perhaps their own? And that neutralizes the poison. Only for one with Kunari physiology. Anyone else would perish almost instantly. Which reminds me, I'll kindly require another body slave. Oh dear. The process activates the magical qualities of the poison, provides the protective effects, almost in the same manner that lyrium runes do. How this works and whether it can be used for our purposes will require further study, perhaps some live specimens this time. From a letter written by Nymeria Origanus, apprentice to Magister well, they would be to Vinter, wouldn't they? 932 Dragon. Oh, Red Dead Redemption 2 I very much enjoyed. I didn't enjoy the first one, but that second one I really liked. The Mass Effect trilogy I also adore very much. I'm with you there. I know people don't like the third as much as the second, but I loved it for that multiplayer. And if by The Walking Dead you mean the Telltale ones, it was a long time ago, but I remember them quite fondly. Clementine, right? Name was the girl you were looking after with, oh, what was your dude's name? I can't remember. It's been so long ago. It's good stuff. It's sad to see Telltale kind of like dip after all these years later, trying to do that to too many franchises. But still, it stood up nicely. Oh, this was the fella from Dragon Age 2 who was in that, like, box. Like that fish glass. Oh, bless you for your hard work then, Alan. You'll get through it. Take it steady, keep yourself hydrated. And you'll get through. And games will be open to you once again. Once you're through it. Xenon the Antiquarium. I left the Black Emporium empty-handed for two reasons. First, most of the items were priced far beyond what I could afford. Second, I spent most of my short time there trying to sate my curiosity about its proprietor. I found myself stealing glances at the antiquarian from behind piles of books between shelves, and at one point, over a basket of mismatched socks. There he sat, petrified in the centre of the emporium, skin of waxy grey over ancient taut sinew, moaning in a voice so dry and brittle it sounded like the snapping of twigs after a drought. That is wildly descriptive. Girl of not more than 12 scurried to and fro to fulfil his numerous requests. Another patron noticed my fascination and told me that the girl, most likely an urchin rescued from the street, was responsible for the needs of the antiquarian, feeding, washing, and the like. So impossibly old is he, and so fragile his skin. He can only tolerate the barest whisper of touches from the smallest and most tender of his servants. Only in this way may he come close to his lost youth, said the man. I was surrounded by objects of legend, yet none fascinated me, as did the antiquarian. From a journal page found in Kirkwall's Dark Town, written by an unknown author. It's either Varric or Hawk. And that is the world of Fadas! My goodness, we've been going for like 40 minutes. It's been ages. Good stuff. And so now we can finally level up his skills. I appreciate your hustle, Alan. Now, while stuff like that is going to become more and more important as time goes on, it's very difficult for me to justify it until I get to a point where I start earning. So while, again, I respect you asking, I'm going to have to decline at least until I'm in a better point financially. But I'll certainly keep you in mind for when that day comes. Now again, I appreciate your efforts in the field. Alright. What I need here is to start heading down to Slayer. How does this work? Oh! There is stuff I did not even know I had. Right trigger and attack button? You're welcome to send me some stuff on Twitter, Alan. That's alright, my inbox is open on there, but again, I can't promise any service to you, at least for a good while. I have charged attacks. There's the sprint one. Jump attacks we know. Dodge we know. Shield we know. Alright. That's the kick. This one's locked until further progress. So how does this tree work then? Can I zoom out a little bit? Not really. Fire's level 20 and then I get to the Slayer. Oh, big spin. AJ would be so happy. What else have we got? Big spin. Big cleave. Spear to yank people. Big stomp. Oh, I love a big stomp. Oh, how am I meant to get all of these cool moves and only use 3 of them? Oh, that's the necrotic one. Shields. I need to consider moves that like prime and detonate stuff as well. Ooh. Much as I'd rather it be lightning, that's pretty cool that I can just summon stuff to come. There's a lot of stuff here. Okay, let's start moving. Oh. More combos. That's pretty cool. That's better than like 2% strength. Don't know about that one. Jump attacks guarantee critical hits if the target is knocked down. Interesting. I'll grab this Fury of the Forge, get a new move. Applies burning. And I detonate that burning. Burning fire damage over time deals increased damage to armor. Ooh. I do have one set up for the channel, but at the moment it is locked behind Patreon stuff. And I know there's not much to offer people there at the moment, but because I don't really have the ability to moderate much at the moment, that's kind of where we're at, I'm afraid. My apologies, Alan. Again, at some point I'll open that up to invites on occasion. Let's see. So I don't think you have to have a Twitter to send people messages necessarily for what it's worth. I could be wrong. It's been a while. Okay. Tree's not as overwhelming as it looks when you're zoomed in. That's alright. Oh, I can move again. Where's my map? There we go. How much is around here to explore, I wonder? A little dwarf fella. Content marked with dialogue will eventually expire as you progress. Oh, okay. Oh, so I want to do it now. Okay, that's Neven Harding here then. I was just trying to see if I could get somewhere else. Or are all these doors locked for now? Dining hall. Oh man, we're going to get a full-on fortress like the one in Inquisition. Some material. And I appreciate your hustle, Alan. You're really persistent, I'll give you that. Yeah, when I can afford the opportunity, I will certainly give you a look, alright? That's just the talking in there. Don't have a weapon to break boxes or anything at the moment. Ooh. To enter the library passage, 3 pairings must meet face to face. Use the capstan arms to rotate the statue in either direction. What is happening? I guess I need to find others of this? After the stream, Alan, I'm going to be straight in bed. Got another early start come tomorrow. That's where Neve is. Is there... Oh, hello, hello, hello. Down here? Question mark? There's something down here. Chest! Blacksmith tools. A valuable item. So the game says. On divine imperatives. Oh, it begins. The helm of the Solar is destroyed. Elganar's favourite torture is over. Too many agents have been rescued with their minds burnt out by that memory of an enraged sun. I feel a lesson here. The helm was not created to torment. The Avenirus are not as we are. God's ruminations carry their own will, and Imperative's memory bleeds into their icons and transmutes them. As fire begets fire. For our Wolflord, who puts so much of himself into his creations, what imperatives do they carry? The heart of a rebellion must remain hidden, yet the light of divinity is uncontainable. It must be swift. The fault lingers. Even as he saves us, what does he impart upon us? Actions by Shura, one who renounced Darnafal. That mean in this game we're going to find an exploded sun helmet? Ah, these all need to face the same way. It's alright, Alad isn't the first. And as long as persistence doesn't carry on too far, I don't feel the need to moderate quite at the moment. I'll let folks know if it's overdoing it. I appreciate you looking out there, Fox. Oh, you're facing this way. Sod. Alright, east then. I need them all facing east. But most of the people who actually follow the Twitter account are people doing the same thing. But I appreciate having more than 0. It's early days. Keep going. Keep climbing. Honestly, at the moment, it's more bizarre that I'm sharing an RPG. And over the years, I've been so... I'd find it so difficult to share these games. And now here I am. God damn it, Fox. That's the problem with everyone who's a friend and comes in. Hey, hey, I do a bit of artwork. How about me? How about me? And to everyone I've said, we'll see when the time comes. I'm just going to have to, like, do an auction. Who wishes to do so? Okay, it said free, so if you go... Did that work? Or did it have a specific direction in mind? Wait, what's it saying? Oh no, that's the main quest. No, is that just a change of preference these days? That looks like secret passageway or a fire that needs stoking. No. Look. Notes on a caretaker. It's noted as a smear of paint on one corner. Have they always been here? There are beings in the crossroads unknown even to the wise. The most ancient ones make any domain their own. Certainly this caretaker belongs here now. I wonder what we look like to them. Need is a scaffold, and the needs of the living ever rise and fall upon it. Hunger, thirst, sleep. Imagine the constant cacophony to one sensitive to such things. Pardon me. Or am I too simple? Wants are fleeting. Needs have deeper roots. That's why I find this particular spirit's presence both comforting and disconcerting. Prospect that our heart's desire and our truest need could differ, or even at odds. Art to contemplate. Poor caretaker. Yeah, where was... It's not going to be in missives, is it? The little note I just read on the back of that... Of the first one, right? Is that note still here? would have weird hands. I think hands is a common issue for many an artist. The note is gone that I picked up. Is it in side quests? Son of a gun. Not skills. Not map. How do I find quests? Oh no. Journal. Okay, okay. It's not here. Oh no. What did it say? What did it say? They all have to face the building, maybe? Let's try that. Goddamn puzzles. Skill Ups review said all the puzzles were easy for babies. Didn't quite say that. I don't want to mischaracterize the review. Certainly said they were on the simpler side, and yet here I am, as I expected, fumbling in the dark. Don't fall off the ledge. Okay, let's face you towards the building as well. Get me up there. It is an excellent way of getting around the issue, for sure. No hands. Please work. I don't want to have to keep doing this with these statues. Oh no! That's very kind. Didn't game over me, didn't do anything crazy. That building's where Harding is. I am so peeved that this statue no longer has the... Maybe falling off has reset it. Maybe the letter's here somewhere. It is not. Oh, it is. No, it's not. It is gone. I must have it somewhere, right? It must be somewhere in here. Oh, sounds like a very chill time. It depends. Where is the ratio on handing out Halloween candy and eating it? Which, to be fair, we set out some plates and stuff here, but I am the one who has eaten most of the gingerbread. It's fine. Maybe I point them all this way? The opposite way that I had them. Don't you fall now. Okay, that one's also pointing this... Wait. That's what I was pointing them all. Which way is the main building? Try that. Guess they all have to point at each other. Those two are pointed in the same direction, vaguely this way. Significantly well behaved. Now, 3 pieces depends on the size of the candy. Are we talking singular Haribo? Kit Kat? Yorkie bar? The specifics are very important. Okay, all 3 now face the building. Has anything been achieved? Well, it's not like the building was locked to me. Nothing else appears to be changing. Snack sized. Oh, what if there's another one of these goddamn things and I've just been mucking around with 3 of them? Again, snack sized is very open to interpretation. That could mean anything. Snack is different for us all. There's a chest over there as well. And another goddamn... Okay. Aww. Hey, better to go over. It's the same as we've done here. Better to go over, but there's loads of these statues. What did the letter say? They all had to face the same direction? Is that what the letter said? Or maybe this will tell me. Look at this place. Planned a rebellion once here. Said we'd change the future of the elves, throw off tyrants, and we did. Now the path outside is fractured. It'll be hard to rekindle all the Illuvians. Solus, if you see this, I'll be looking for you. Out in this world and in the mortal one. Don't cause too much trouble before I get there. It's a very true and fair point. Wait, that piece of paper remained. It has remained there. Okay, think. I'm pretty sure it said they all have to face the same way. So I'm going to have them all facing north. That's easy to remember. I don't know if this even does anything. I mean, I don't know if even I can find them all yet. If they reset, if I leave. But I'm here. And I want to explore. Give me this. Some money. Can I make that jump? I don't think so. Oh, don't trip and fall, you son of a gun. Don't you dare. Are you facing north already? You are. That seems like death. That's not something I can actually land on. That looks like something I should be able to reach. And yet I cannot. Right. Now you're facing north. I've heard nothing of them, Fox. I'm not very, in any loops these days. That's okay. There are family bonfire things this weekend, as one might expect. Right, you're north as well. Nothing has changed. What did the note say? Not that note, the other bloody note. They're all facing the same way. Are they facing the right way? Where is this bloody note? Oh, no, you're not real. At least they stayed in the same place. I'm going to try one more rotation of them, where they're facing towards the center on either side. If that doesn't work, maybe Neville Harding can let me know.
Must be two more.
You son of a gun. It worked. Feedback. It's alright. How's the audio balancing for it being podcast for you? Is it working out? But that triggered one of them. Oh, wait a minute. Does it mean facing ones they can actively see? I think I've cracked it. I think we're there. Code has been breached. Could be wrong. Wait, oh, a bit of clippy. It's my expedience.
That's the second. One more to go.
Oh, it's happening. It was worth it. Game is definitely still quiet, but it's alright because no one is talking. Right, what I'll do is I'll bump it up a little bit. Just because I realise I've also got things altered slightly in OBS as well. When I go back and look through the stream tomorrow, if I have time, I'll have a gander myself through and see where I line up, for lack of a better term. Tomorrow we'll also be streaming Monster Hunter Wilds, because the beta is happening. It's very exciting. Oh, yep, that's the other statue. It can... No! Son of a gun. Maybe... Is dialogue already at full? Yeah, dialogue's already at full. Oh yeah, if you didn't know, you can just go and download the Steam, like, beta right now. And it's up all weekend. I'll only be streaming it on the Friday.
Did something?
But it's going to be up all weekend. It's only like 20 gigabytes. And it's free, you don't have to pre-order or anything. I'll be streaming it from the usual starting time of 6 PM and onwards. Ooh! The music room. Add some gold. Memories of a duet. The sheet music left by this instrument appears to be for a duet. It has been anointed by expert hand. Notations are accompanied by clear emotional impressions, diligent practice with a ruthless eye for mistakes. The relief of a practice of private achievement away from the well-meant misunderstanding and mindless worship. An unspoken joy in the centre of rising, perfect echoes. Finally, a beloved memory surfaces. A smiling glance. Meeting at crescendo, a shared moment of understanding. Seeing completely. And being wholly seen. Impression fades. Resisting to not spoil the game for yourself down the line, or resisting so it doesn't eat the weekend? There's something angry and growling behind that wall. Isn't that interesting? Is there a Varric was down here? Oh, the Illuvian room. Interesting. Codex, give me XP. The Dreadwolf's Illuvian. Most of us have only travelled through the Illuvians at the whims of those who called themselves our gods. We know them as mirrors that always go from one to another, a bonded pair linked no matter the difference. Solus has outsmarted the so-called gods. If we use normal Illuvians, they would track us to our lair. Solus has improved upon June's work by creating a mirror whose singing stone can change its tune and take us to any Illuvian, not just its bonded partner. Thus we can travel wherever this rebellion needs us. No fear of pursuit. Travel is as safe as a normal Illuvian. If you have questions, ask for the slow arrow. I will guide you. Pelisan, The slow arrow again. Ah, fair enough, Fox. I respect your dedication and diligence in the matter. I know it will hurt to avoid it. There will be a lot of folks with streams of it, though. At the very least, there already are. Like, the PS5 test started a few days earlier. It's been ongoing, so there's already a lot of streams and footage out. If you were so inclined. Again, I'd ideally like to play it for most of the weekend, but it will just be a lengthy stream tomorrow, I think. Explored as much as I can here. So it's time to talk to Neve and Harding. And then I think, after we have our little meeting at the table, probably call it there for the evening, but we've probably got about another 30 minutes or so left of chit-chatting. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly save. Overwrite this one. And I'm just going to leave myself hanging in this space for a moment. So I just nip for a bio break. And I'll be right back. No, it's fair play. I'm kind of feeling it myself these days. Wake up early, grab breakfast, do some helping about, do the morning stream, do the edits after the morning stream, try and grab lunch or get an hour's nap, and then evening stream, then bed. Somewhere in between food. I'm glad you've had yourself a day off at the least at the moment. And well done on working so hard. I'm just going to tippity type into the chat. Oh, I can't do it while the mouse is active. Pause there. There we go. Just in case someone bobs in. Quick BRB. Tappity. Tap tap. Tappity tap tap. There we go. Alright. Do let me know if my character starts doing anything fancy whilst AFK. I'm just waiting for the day there's a game again that tries to murder my character while they're not. You know, while they're just AFK. Been ages since anyone messed with us like that. It's good stuff. Alright. Grab yourself a beverage, stretch your legs. Folks out there. I'll be back with you shortly. And we're back. Thank you for your patience. Give me a sec to get wheeled back in. Wrap up these conversations. Oh. Good night, Fox in the chat. Thank you for hanging out. Get yourself a good sleep and well done finishing up. Alright, Makar. Let's get you talking to people. Let's learn more about Neve.
Wisps. Figures are in the Fade, but I swear they're following me.
Oh, that's what they are.
You alright?
Strange place you've fallen into, but I'll work with it. You know me.
Do I?
We're both shadow dragons and both from Minrathous. Maybe our paths haven't crossed, but I know our work has. It's a start.
Oh, so that's my specific background response then.
And shadows stand together.
That's the idea. Cross your fingers it works out for us.
You take a lot of notes. What about?
Lately, what we know, or knew, before Solus changed the game.
And it's...
Not much. I'm sure Lace would hate to hear that, but one step at a time.
We'll figure this out. I'm sure of it.
Really? Do you know something I don't?
No.
Endless
we just-
optimism.
Well, we have to, right?
Oh.
Yeah, that's the job.
He's already becoming less grizzled, but that's more just me filling through. Well, the more conversation side didn't really, unless it just went straight back to the other one. I'm glad it has on the minimap those little come talk to people. Because what I do in previous Bioware games, pardon me, is I would come and chat to everyone after every major or side mission. Now it's actually letting me know, oh, someone has something to say to come talk to you. Change monument. Oh, we can customize the base. Ooh. Not to Fen'Harel, decayed by age and time. Or we can put one to Hanel Gilhan, legendary halal, leaving streaks of gold in its wake. I think we'll probably be sticking with Fen'Harel most of our time. Again, I'm curious to see why they didn't go with Solus and why Dreadwolf changed to Veilguard.
It wasn't supposed to go this way.
Oh no.
What do we do now? What do we do?
Rough day.
Harding,
Permanent injury.
Hey, Rook. How's it going?
I should be asking you that. I got you hurt.
This is a dangerous job. Everyone knew that signing on. There's so much to do. We have to keep going.
Are you sure you're all right?
Oh, disapproves.
Maybe you should
This
rest.
isn't going well.
Yes, Rook. I'm fine. This is nothing. I'm just a little dizzy. I'll walk it off. Or something.
Harding, you can't just...
Oh yeah? Watch me. We need to get back to the ritual site, don't we? Let's stop worrying about me and go do that.
Yeah, but I'm going
Come
to
get
worry
me when
about
you're ready to go.
everyone. That's kind of how I'm wired. I can't help myself. Any more bits and bobs around here to read? No, I imagine over time this place will kind of get fancied up a little bit as we go. Let's gather the team. See where we're heading out for tomorrow. We'll probably continue our adventures come Monday.
So, we stopped the ritual.
Small so
And
far.
Varric paid the price.
Hey. Varric made his choice to go talk with Solus. He knew the risks. We all did.
And now Solus is gone. And we're here. Wherever here is. Besides in the Fade.
Solus called it the Lighthouse.
He did? When?
These are all kind of the same answer, but the Fade is, like, factually correct.
Sorry. It was while I was unconscious. Solus appeared in my dream.
Really? I'm glad you're alright.
I need better casual
What
clothes.
I saw, he's trapped in the Fade now. Not here, but some kind of prison.
You're sure that wasn't just a dream? It's a reasonable reaction.
Except that dwarves don't dream, remember? We
Oh,
can't.
background coming in.
The Fade is the world of dreams, and we're not connected to it.
That's a good point.
It's weird. I was standing in a place that I knew couldn't be real. None of it made sense.
You're lucky it was just weird. Solus can kill people in dreams.
He
Noted.
said our connection wasn't strong enough for him to do that.
Oh.
He could only reach me because I bled at the ritual site when I got banged up.
So Solus is using blood magic, like any normal mage would to play with your mind.
But he's not a normal mage, like I told you. He's an elven god.
Putting together a nice ritual doesn't make him a god.
He nearly brought down the veil, Nev. Can you do that?
You know it's not that simple.
He may not be a prayers and blessings kind of god, but he's a lot more than just a mage.
All right, well, we've stopped the ritual and there doesn't seem to be an immediate danger. For now. You're certain Solus can't use blood magic to affect your mind?
I'm not certain of anything. But we're not out of danger.
What do you mean?
Solus had 2 of the other elven gods imprisoned. When he got trapped, they escaped.
So those things we saw come out of the Fade when the ritual went wild, those are...
Elganan and Gillenane. 2 of the ancient elven gods that Solus rebelled against.
Which ones were they? I don't think now's the time to beat myself up over it. That's what Solus said.
Was Solus. He was scared of them. He said they were horrific tyrants.
Tyrants so powerful, elven history remembers them as gods.
Solus says Elganan and Gillenane drew on the Blight for power and became corrupted. That was when he imprisoned them.
So instead of 1 god running around, we have 2. And they're not just powerful, they're blighted.
We need to get out there and stop them.
Just like that, without Varric. And you're still getting back on your feet.
I'm fine. We can't just sit here and do nothing.
We need to investigate. Figure out what we're dealing with before we rush in and make things worse.
And how many more people will get hurt, get killed, while we spend time investigating?
I can't believe I'm going to be constantly disagreeing with Harding. But Nev's right. We need to know more.
If Elganan and Gillenane are worse than Solus, we can't go in blind. We need to know what they can do and what they want.
But we only have Solus's word about all of this.
Then let's go investigate for ourselves. We find out what we're dealing with, and then we take our shot.
Fine. The Illuvian led us here instead of back to Minrathous.
Let's hope it goes back to the ritual site. Maybe we can find some clues at the scene of the crime.
Harding, you okay to go?
I'm not gonna sit back while elven gods destroy the world because I have a headache.
All right then. Let's get back to the ritual site.
The Illuvian has its own special room. It's just down the stairs.
I know. I've been running around like a madman for the past, 30 minutes when I haven't been reading Codex entries. Okay, Varric doesn't want to talk at the moment. So it says. I still want to go and see him. I'm just going to check, right? I'd rather know this on the first stream if folks are in fact still getting dialogue without a little pop-up happening. He's fast asleep. Let's not disturb him. He's had a bad day. Hair physic. Works quite well. Okay, down and behind. Eventually I will know the layout. That's a lie. I will be lost all the time. Okay, it's an interact button. Alright. I think then, for today, we will call it there. There we are. So with that said, thank you very much for watching. I enjoyed myself quite a bit. I'm excited to get deeper into it. Now I know the Codex entries were a lot to get through, but now they're out of the way, it's just one at a time as we go. It was good to build up all that Dragon Age lore once again, even if I don't remember it by the time I go to sleep and wake up. It's all buried in the subconscious somewhere. Hopefully, we'll be able to come up on occasion. We'll see. So for those who've come along live and those who'll watch this later, cheers for giving me your time. Like the video if you enjoyed yourselves. Get these things pushed through the algorithm. Subscribe for more content here on the channel. Play World of Warcraft on the weekdays at 9 AM. And then in the evenings, play other games. For the time being, it's going to be Dragon Age. With the exception of tomorrow, because there is a Monster Hunter Wilds beta. And because it's going to be a busy weekend for me, I'm going to have to try and bang out all the content it has tomorrow evening. Just given it's the weekend, happy to stay up for. You can find playlists to all the different games we've played right here on the channel under that little playlist button. So until next time, folks, much love, take care, and bye-bye.